Recording. Bingo.
Off to the races. I see that. And the Coyotes are wearing them for that interview. There you go. Nice, stupid people saying stupid things. All right. Yeah, you know, I've heard that helps. $309. Yeah. $121. Two minutes? Well, now, what did it do to go back?
Hello and good Saturday evening, people of the internet, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, and people of Earth or people who are not from Earth. It is time for the House Divided podcast. We are back again with on a third Saturday in a row. Because
we just can't do anything right, apparently.
this podcast is cursed to actually happen on time, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, and when we miss one day after what we were intending to do the podcast on, we're gonna miss a couple days. It's just the way that this seems to go.
Yeah.
So it really is good that we don't have an actual set in stone schedule, and we're just like, yeah, we're gonna try and do it on this day.
It happens once a week. It happens. We do it once a week. That's all we know. Hello. Oops. There we go. Problem solved. Hello, everybody. It's me. I'm still here from home, and Jordan's still coming live from Ford Field.
Yep.
We got a show today.
I think so.
We got stuff we want to take care of and get done. So we got a lot to talk about. We have a new segment that will be debuted at the end, or about almost the end of the show. Almost. We have a very short news section this week, thankfully, mercifully.
By design.
By design.
It did help out that there wasn't really that much, so that was nice. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, neither was I, honestly. A little bit of a Daytona 500 preview, which Jordan will pretty much lead us through, and then a Super Bowl.
I was gonna say that's probably pretty much all gonna be me.
Yeah, a Super Bowl 55 recap and some other stuff. So with that being said, let's roll right into it with stupid people say stupid things that will hopefully be abbreviated because, well, by design, we tried to keep it abbreviated this week.
Only selected 4, which is a low for me.
I think I have
these last couple weeks
5.
And yet it's still not really abbreviated, but it's shorter than it has been.
Yeah, I will lead us off.
Okay.
So this comes from mine comes from a soccer account on Instagram, an account that posts soccer highlights and stuff on Instagram. And whatever reason, this account posted something about a group of fans in India that every week they wake up and watch Premier League soccer.
Yep. And
here's where and they said about how great it was because of the massive time difference between Great Britain, or between the United Kingdom and India, that these fans were waking up at weird hours to watch their teams play. And how great it was for everything. And this one individual on Instagram said they're not paying $300 a weekend to go to the game and watch, though.
Oh, yeah. It's literally the same thing I got from West Ham fans.
Yeah. And
you haven't been to Stamford Bridge. Okay, well, yeah, it's 3,000 miles away.
Yeah. And one individual says, and what's your point to this guy? This guy doubles down. They shouldn't be considered more important or get any coverage over the fans who actually spend their money going to games every weekend.
Well, nobody is spending their money and going to games right now.
No. Not at all.
Not like that has any sort of, he doesn't have a valid point
at all.
Normal times.
And then right now,
And-
it's even
and-
less valid.
And then even less valid, because if you're spending $300 to go to the games right now, I don't know what to tell you. I feel
You're
like you're
just
kind of wasting your money.
You're sitting outside
you're
the
not
stadium.
going to the games. Yep.
Not even watching it. My next one is a 2-for-1 in a reply to TJ Lang.
Yeah, I have a feeling I know where this is going.
I think I've already shown you this one, Jordan.
No, I think I saw it on my own.
Oh, I thought
Not what is this in reply to TJ Lang?
Yes.
Oh,
This is not something
no,
TJ Lang posted himself on Twitter.
I would have put him in there. I don't even remember what it was, but I remember seeing TJ Lang post something stupid earlier in the week, which is very rare. Usually I agree with TJ.
2 individuals on Twitter replying to TJ Lang. 2-for-1 here because, well, the one guy replied to the other guy who replied to TJ Lang. Individual number 1, LFG Dan Juris, however it's pronounced. Tom Brady isn't the best quarterback of all time. He's the luckiest in all caps.
Oh, there we go.
Quarterback of all time. Hi, Rob Parker, is that you?
Yeah, no kidding.
And then
I don't even remember what Super Bowl it was that he got on the herd and went, "He's the low."
wasn't it was after the Rams one, I think.
I think it was the 5th. I don't even think it was the 6th Super Bowl.
Oh.
It's been a while.
And
Rob
then,
Parker's been stupid for a long time.
Yes, he has. And then a individual replied to the first individual. The second one, BMoney3802. So you obviously know if he's going by B Money on Twitter, he's probably stupid.
And he probably doesn't have a lot of money.
I wasn't even gonna go there, but okay, yeah. I did unmute my mic, I believe. I hope I did. I did. Good.
We're professional.
Yeah. But BMoney3802 replies to the first man, Brady is easily in all caps, the most overrated athlete in all of sports.
No.
I can think of
I get what he's saying. I get what he's saying to an extent, but because there's nothing Brady does that wows you. He just does everything so well. And he's not the flashy player like Mahomes, so people just don't think he's as good as Patrick Mahomes is. But
I can think of other people.
Calling him overrated at this point is.
I can think of other athletes that would be more overrated in all of sports, like James Harden.
I was gonna say Russell Westbrook.
Well, Russell Westbrook. Kyrie's making his way onto that list. As much as that hurt.
Kawhi Leonard's almost making his way.
Yeah, as much as I like Kyrie, he's starting to kind of make his way on that list right now with how the Nets are playing.
Right.
Moving on. This one comes from Facebook, so I will not say the individual's name. But this was a reply to Up North Live, a Michigan news coverage thing about the Super Bowl halftime show.
At a TC. Oh boy. Yeah, I think I was on that post on Super Bowl Sunday.
About the Super Bowl halftime show. It was more like the Satan halftime show. There was a message there, just like Satanism going schools in Florida with coloring book. OMG, what has world became? God help us.
I don't even know where to start.
There is nowhere to start. Honestly.
So let me first say that there was a meme going around that said that during the Super Bowl halftime show, up on the screen on the stage, he put big old letters. It just said Satan. How people believe this, I don't know, because there was not a stage.
No, the stage was the boat.
The boats and the field.
Yeah, there was no real stage.
How that gained any traction, I don't know. Is that from a weekend concert? Yes. Do I know the context on it? No, but I read it and I've forgotten it. But it wasn't quite what it was intended to seem like.
Yeah.
Then the other stuff, I got nothing. That's some word vomit if I've ever seen it.
Yeah. All I'm gonna say, I'm not really a Weeknd fan. I have never really listened to any of his music. I know some of his songs. I know some of his songs, as in I know he sings those songs, and I have heard those songs, but I don't really listen. I've heard those songs on the radio, but I don't think the performance was bad.
There's a couple that I liked, a couple Weeknd songs that I like. I don't think the performance was as bad. Like it's gonna happen every year.
Oh yeah.
And no matter who it is, like, you know, all these people that complain about it, they want to see the post Janet Jackson nip slip days where we were getting the Rolling Stones and the Who and Prince and freaking classic artists and whatnot. And that's just not the way. It can't be that way. And you can't please everybody. There's not a single artist on this planet that you're going to please everybody with. So, yeah. I mean, it's going to happen every year. I don't get the hate for it. And if you actually watch, now I didn't know about this prior, so I was not aware of this live. But if you watch some of his performances at some other big events, so like the AMAs and whatnot, he's been telling this bizarre story with his performances throughout the last year or so. And it's actually pretty fascinating. Like,
yeah.
You know, him getting all sorts of messed up in the face, and then he's got bandages on his face, and then all of a sudden he's got this really bad plastic surgery. Now he's got a normal face at the Super Bowl. It's really, really strange. But yeah. It's also very interesting to look at, I think. I enjoyed it, but then it wasn't bad. Like I can, you know, even if an artist isn't exactly my style, like I can still appreciate their talent, and I feel like people are just so hesitant to do that because they like their style and they don't go out and listen to anything else, and that's honestly not a very good thing.
So I also will say I actually have 6 because I forgot about my late entry last night that bumped stupid people say stupid things news. Mike Freeman is no longer going to be he's not going to be a 3-time repeat champion. He might be eventually he might be a 3-time 3-time stupid person say stupid people say stupid things champion of the week, but not this week. My next one though.
Rob Parker, real quick, I feel like Rob Parker would make it on it more if he didn't have me blocked on 3 different accounts.
Right. I think he has me blocked too, honestly.
Literally, just bring up Kirk Cousins or Marty Mornhinweg, I believe, and he will block you.
Yeah.
Just the way it is.
This one comes from Twitter. This dude's Twitter handle is so long that I don't even see the entirety of it, but he was replying to the St. Louis Blues after the St. Louis Blues lost to the Arizona Coyotes in a shootout a couple nights ago.
They did do that, yes.
This individual's tweet was, "My analysis of the Blues." And by the way, I want this to be known. This is in all caps.
Oh, of course.
Of course. My analysis of the Blues. The entire tweet is in all caps. Very small team. Village team. No trophies or Stanley Cups. Bad players. Bad coach. Bad jersey. Terrible stadium. Chicago is better. St. Louis should be converted to a poultry farm.
I can't even analyze that stupid because that level of stupidity just doesn't compute with my brain.
Like, I'm assuming this guy is he's a Blackhawks fan, obviously.
Yeah, that seems to be apparent.
But I'm assuming this guy's trying to troll. He's just doing a terrible job at it. Like, did 2019 not exist to him?
Yeah, last I knew they won a couple trophies that year.
Yeah, they won the Western Conference and they won the Stanley Cup.
They did.
So yeah, there's that. My next one, this comes from Jerry Rice the other day did a post Super Bowl interview in which someone asked him if Tom Brady, and I will give Jerry Rice credit, he said that Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. I'll give him that credit. Someone asked him if Tom Brady was the greatest athlete to play football of all time. In other words, the greatest football player. I don't know if you want, I can't remember if it was like the greatest athlete of all time or just the greatest football player of all time.
When we discussed this prior, I believe it was greatest athlete.
Okay. Like I said, I can't fully remember the entire the wording of it, but Jerry Rice answered with, well, the era in which we played was different, which I personally think, is a good answer, because
a terrible one.
Here's the thing with that question is, like, that is for Jerry Rice, that's a lose-lose question. Because if the question's terrible, let's be honest. That's why the answer, I should say it's not a great answer. It's the best he could answer it, because again, it's a lose-lose question for Jerry Rice.
Right.
If Jerry Rice says, "Oh, I'm the better athlete," people are going to think that he's saying he's the best football player of all time. If he were to say Tom Brady was the better athlete, well, Tom Brady's not really he's a good quarterback. He's not a phenomenal athlete. He's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
We've all seen the combine photo, and I don't think much has changed.
Yeah, there's a difference. But this individual replies to this post by CBS Sports precisely why Brady is not being in all capitals. There's a common theme in all of my stupid people say stupid things this week. Lots of all capitals. Is not the GOAT. Peyton Manning or Joe Montana are. We're going to ignore the Joe Montana part because, okay, if we're talking two different eras, Joe Montana played in a different era compared to Tom Brady.
Yes.
Peyton Manning, or he didn't even actually say Peyton Manning, he just said Manning. So he could even be referring to Eli Manning. Who knows? Let's be honest, he's not referring to Eli Manning because outside of...
I hope not.
Outside of two seasons, Eli Manning did not do phenomenal. Peyton Manning and Tom Brady very much played in the same era. They played each other 17 times. That's a lot.
Is that
17 times in 20 years is a handful of games. And actually, 17 times in like 15 years, actually, because Tom Brady's been in the league for 20 years, right? I believe so. I'm going to answer my own question because I think Jordan died.
No, did not die.
Oh. Tom Brady's been in the league 20 years, correct?
Oh, roughly. I believe 20.
Okay. Peyton Manning has been retired for 5, so 17 times. They played 17 times in 15 years. That's the same era. And my final stupid people say stupid things comes from, as I said, Mike Freeman, USA Today reporter Mike Freeman got bumped last night by, late last night, yesterday, by, a colleague of his named Dan Wolken. Mr. Dan Wolken wrote an article for USA Today that said, the headline was, Chiefs Patrick Mahomes is not to blame for Super Bowl 55 loss, but now his legacy is in question. I'm going to read a couple excerpts from this article. And at that very moment, the question looming over the next chapter of Mahomes' career became clear. Is it possible that he can go from the best of his generation to a legend after this loss? The very next paragraph, opening sentence of the next paragraph. Even the most shameless hot take artist cannot credibly blame Mahomes for the Chiefs' collapse in this Super Bowl.
Don't quite think anybody is, but I mean, sure.
A couple paragraphs later. Nothing about this performance should make you question whether Mahomes has the ability to be one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Tom Brady's 7 Super Bowl wins have been interspersed with 3 losses, disappointments, and missed opportunities. He's just been around long enough to be better. And to make those losses not count. And it's like, huh?
Yeah, those Super Bowls didn't happen now.
And then to wrap it up, this article to wrap it up, just this one. So many things failed Mahomes on Sunday: his teammates, his health, and even some bad calls. He might have more time to make up for it, but in this sport, the margins to become a legend are so small that he might not be able to.
All I got for this, and again, we talked about this last night, since when did not being the greatest of all time make you not a legend?
This one, like, this article was probably... I love how he even said something about how hot take artists couldn't find anything wrong, but that's exactly what he was doing. And it also brings to something that I want to talk about next. We aren't going to talk about it this week because there was a couple other articles about Tom Brady that came out that I want to talk about them next week because they just won't fit into the show this week because they're not really related to the Super Bowl. They're related to other things about Tom Brady and his life in football. Anytime someone says Tom Brady is not the golden boy of the NFL, or is not one of the golden children of the NFL, I point to articles like that. I point to things like that where mainstream media will just forget about all of the negative things that has happened in his football career. All of the Super Bowl losses or the playoff losses. People just, oh yeah, those don't... He's been around so long and he's been to 10 Super Bowls that those losses, they're not... we don't count those. Now, is Tom Brady... Well, I say, just to go on a slight little tangent here, like I said, we'll talk more about this. I want to talk more about it next week. Is Tom Brady the only golden boy in the NFL? No. Aaron Rodgers is too. So is Drew Brees. Patrick Mahomes hasn't quite gotten there yet, in my opinion, not because of articles like that. But Tom Brady is not alone in that golden child of the NFL, in my opinion. But articles like that frustrate me because, A, they're just so obnoxiously dumb.
It's a very good way to put it.
Like, because all those kind of articles are just, they're hot take articles, and then you're just like, and they're hot take articles about the media's one of the NFL's media golden childs. So that wraps up my portion of Stupid People Say Stupid Things. You want to take the wheel here? Yeah.
I suppose I can do that. So mine come from 2 posts, and like I said, I do have 4 of them.
Oh no.
So
from 2 oh no.
Yeah. So I'm going to start.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
Right. I'm gonna start off with let's see. I'll start off with Brady's little too much avocado tequila tweet. Which was absolutely lovely.
Oh, that was glorious.
seeing Tom Brady have
fun
on a human level and
it was
not
fun.
A robot was absolutely fantastic.
Now, I wish he would have had. I will say, just to preface, I wish it would have been more Gronk-esque partying.
Right.
Like, I wish Tom Brady out there double fisting fucking Bud Light, shotgunning him. That would have been even better.
I think Tom Brady knows how to shotgun a beer, to be honest.
Probably not.
So I will start out with. Let's see. I'll start out with this one. Somebody named Terry says, every time I try to like Brady, he gives me yet another reason not to. Honestly, this is embarrassing and not cool. He's got the rings, but never the class. Now, that's bad enough on its own, right?
That's not good.
On its own. Absolutely dumb. When you go to this person's profile, their bio says, my lifelong dream is to meet Peyton Manning. The same Peyton Manning who, after he won his last Super Bowl right before he retired, said, I'm going to drink a lot of Budweiser tonight.
Yeah.
And literally, like, so yep. What? So athletes are just never allowed to consume alcohol ever? Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah. So I will say I saw one complaint. One slight complaint that I would even give some, like, just the smallest about a bit of credence with what Tom Brady did. And it's that his daughter was there with him, and they didn't appear to have someone to drive them home. Now, did they? Okay, most likely. I'm sure they did. Because I highly doubt Tom Brady thought, oh, I'm just going to drive there myself, and who the fuck cares how I get home? I'm going to go with my daughter. Who the fuck cares how I get home? Now, that one I put a tiny, tiny bit of credence in, but even then, it's still, like, dumb.
Well, like, so I feel like if that was the case, and he's just going out and, like, they're walking off the boat, and he's just gonna go jump in his car, why wouldn't he have just been driving the boat the whole time?
Right.
But he wasn't. I bet whoever was driving the boat's probably driving him home too. But,
yeah. There was someone driving him home. Yeah. That is the only one of those related to that I would even give, like, a tiny bit of credence to, but even then it's still stupid.
So then we move on to one that I'm not quite sure what to make of. This guy goes, seriously, like, this has two different parts to it, and I don't really know. None of them are related, and I don't quite understand. Seriously, how, and this is actually in reply to the first person, how can he be drunk at a parade that's literally being thrown for him and his teammates, right? That part doesn't sound dumb enough, right? That could be sarcastic, right?
Could be. Maybe. I hope.
But then we get into, I'll read it again. How can he be drunk at a parade that's literally being thrown for him and his teammates that Biden endorsed on the Jumbotron right before the game? Huh? I got questions as to what that even means, what the correlation is, whether it's serious, whether it's sarcastic. I don't know.
I mean,
the internet's a very
Joe Biden did place. like every president has done pretty much, said something prior to the Super Bowl that got aired.
Yep. Not the first time, won't be the last.
Trump did it, Obama did it, Bush did it, Clinton probably did it, I just can't remember. Every president has probably done it since Super Bowl. It's probably been done for a long time. And Joe Biden will do it again next year, and next year, and next year, and the president after him in 2024 will do it then. Or 2025, we'll do it then. It's going to be kept getting done, and done, and done, and done, and done, and done. So now, both of those were on Twitter, and now I move it over to Facebook and NASCAR on Fox. Oh, no.
Oh, no. I don't quite remember what the original post was, but I will say it was not about Bubba Wallace. But, that's just the way of the redneck NASCAR fans. He just lives. He literally like Bubba Wallace and conservatives. Like that is literally the definition of living rent free in someone's head.
Oh, Bubba Wallace, 100%.
Good God.
Bubba Wallace 100% lives rent free in people's head. Like there is no.
So I'm not sure which one's worse. I really don't know. I'm gonna go with this one because this one I feel like is a little less bad. It's still incredibly stupid, and we'll get to the problems with it. Somebody goes, would love to see Larson put Bubba in the wall for the win. Can y'all imagine the headlines after that? So you'd love to see the guy who got suspended for using the N-word put the black guy in the wall. Uh-huh. And that is also where this other one takes us. The same general thing. Somebody made some comment about Bubba. Most people came to defend him, but then this stupid idiot with the Kevin Harvick number 4 as his profile picture said, just wait until after the 500 because Bubba Wallace has had a great speed week. He's been fast. Most times. He's been out on track at Daytona this week. I think he probably would have been, I won't say probably. He might have even been decent in the Clash in an actual good car, on the road course. But, he didn't win a pole last year, so he wasn't eligible. And so this is in reply to, again, a post that had nothing to do with Bubba Wallace. Somebody made a comment, and then this one guy comes to defend him and says, just wait until after the 500. Let me know then what great driver he is. Hopefully he gets hurt when he slams into the inside wall at 190 miles an hour, and then follow that up with that little I don't even know what it is. I don't even know what it's called. It's that little dude that pulled his pants down and he's pissing on something, and you see it on the back of like rednecks trucks all the time with like a logo or something. Little dude pissing on the letters BLM. I mean, you might as well just get "I'm racist" tattooed on your face. I mean, at that point.
I'm still stuck on the wait till we'll see how good driver he is. Like, I'm still stuck on that.
Let me know then what great driver he is.
Yeah, then how what? Okay, I'm sorry. I thought it was when how what.
But I mean, like, if you consider yourself a NASCAR fan, and I don't even, regardless of race, if you hate a driver, plenty of people hate Kyle Busch in a different way, but they hate him just the same. And
Kyle Busch is an ass.
If you are wishing Kyle Busch is an ass, I agree with that statement. But if you are wishing for a driver to get hurt,
here's the deal. I'm the best there is.
For any reason whatsoever, just get out of my sport. Just leave.
Yeah.
Like, honestly. And slams into the inside wall. By the way, slam into the inside wall at 190. The inside wall is a little bit down there a ways. Usually got time to scrub off some speed. So you're not going to be hitting that at 190.
Yeah.
So
if
I don't know.
He would have to purposely drive into the inside wall at 190.
Pretty much. Especially like on the backstretch. I mean, I know there's a lot of pavement down there, but like, I mean, that's actually by design. Gives you more of a chance to hit your brakes and slow your car down. But even if you're spinning in the corners and hitting the inside wall, you have to go down the banking, essentially run into the ground, go through some grass, and then hit the wall.
Yeah, you'll slow down from 190 by then.
Slow down from 190 as soon as you make the transition from the banking to the apron.
Yeah.
Good God.
Ain't that the truth?
No, seriously, I mean, people are so dumb when it comes to Bubba Wallace, and I hope he goes out there, has a good race. I don't know if he's gonna win it, because he's not quite the best plate racer as of right now. But if he's in there at the end and he's got a shot to win it, man, I hope he does.
Yeah.
Because then I've already seen the comments. If Bubba wins this weekend, I'm done with NASCAR. Okay, well you
Good.
said you were done with NASCAR about this time last year, so like just get out of here.
Yeah. Go away. Just please go away.
I just wish that all the people that said they were done with NASCAR would actually follow through and just go.
Well, no, they can't be done with NASCAR because then there's no other sport. Because those same people are done with football, they're done with basketball, they're done with every other. They're done with baseball. They don't watch hockey anyway because they're too dumb.
Yep.
They would have no other sport to watch.
All of the dumb.
So for all of those people who are on Stupid People Say Stupid Things, because I believe that was your last one, right?
It was.
Okay, well, for all of those people who were on Stupid People Say Stupid Things this week, congratulations, you're stupid. You win fuck all. Please.
You win nothing, you lose.
Yes. Please get smart, or as Herm Edwards said, don't press send on social media. Don't press send.
Just delete your social media entirely.
Yes, please. You will make the world a better place. And you won't be featured here. So that's Stupid People Say Stupid Things for the week. Moving on to the news, the abbreviated news section. You want to lead us off because you know more about this than I do.
Yeah, I suppose.
You're going to be leading us off a bit this week.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't happen very often these days, but, you know, hey, it's got to happen this week.
Yeah. This is the week to do it.
The Detroit Tigers have signed free agent outfielder Nomar Mazara to a 1-year, $1.75 million deal. It seemed like this was the guy that the Tigers were going to go out and get when it was reported a couple weeks ago that they were looking at getting another outfielder, even still after signing Robbie Grossman. And I'm perfectly fine with it. You know, I think he's a pretty good signing. He gives us really 4 solid, capable outfielders with him, Grossman, Jacoby Jones if he's healthy, and Victor Reyes. Now, we actually have more outfielders on the 40-man roster, which is interesting. Now, the Tigers actually, I believe this was after they signed Grossman, DFA'd Travis Demerit. He just got claimed by the Atlanta Braves today, which is not really a surprise. I believe he actually came over from Atlanta in the Shane Green deal, if I remember correctly, and now he is
made it back.
He's back over there. Demerit didn't really translate to the major league level. It was just not able to put the bat on the ball enough. Solid defensive outfielder, I suppose, but you know, that's not going to keep you on a roster if you can't hit. And this move, signing Mazara, actually mean we DFA'd John Schreiber, which was a bit of a surprise to me. Because again, I would have DFA'd Christian Stewart, because I get that Christian Stewart's a former first-round pick, and they might still see potential in him. But man, I would have rather kept Demerit at this point, because Christian Stewart has, again, he's not translated to the major league level in a more severe and noticeable way than Demerit did. I mean, Christian Stewart has been just awful outside of a couple bright spot games here and there. But I mean, is what it is. I guess I get they don't want to give up on a former first-round pick because, again, he likely would be claimed. I wouldn't be shocked if Schreiber gets claimed after this deal here. But interesting. I would have kept Schreiber over Stewart. I feel like he has a higher upside. But yeah, this likely means the Tigers are done with free agency. Overall, a lot better than I thought they would do. Re-signing Jonathan Scope, making deals for Mazara and Robbie Grossman, and then also signing a catcher in Wilson Ramos, who, again, these are all veteran guys who, you know, have not had the greatest major league careers, but, you know, Ramos is just a good veteran that's gonna give you good, solid games. And, you know, the other guys, I mean, that really boosts the outfield for the Tigers. Will it mean much of anything in terms of actually competing? No, that's not really the goal of this team at this point. But if these guys can have some solid seasons, start off hot, we move him at the deadline, maybe get a couple pieces for him. So, especially I feel like with Mazzara, like, it's a 1-year deal. If he gets off to a hot start, gets some new coaching in him, and just goes and has a hot April, hot May, he could definitely get some interest at the trade deadline from some competitive teams, because I mean, he can put the bat on the ball well. He hits the ball hard. I like it. It's a good signing, I think. And then I will, because I did forget to put this in here, and I'm not going to get into as in depth as what I thought we were, because this story has just been wild. But he's on the graphic, and I didn't put it in the notes, so we got to bring it up. Chris Doyle, is that what his name is?
Yes, Chris Doyle.
Yeah, signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars as their, I believe, strength and conditioning coach or something of that nature.
The director of player and athletic development, which is, yes, essentially a strength and conditioning coach. It's just a fancy title for it. He resigned today, or last night.
Yes, he did.
I believe it was.
Yeah, I was going to go into it and, to dive in deeper, but, he resigns. We're just going to let that go. But I see a lot of people online. This honestly could have made some stupid people say stupid things. He deserves a second chance. Well, he's had about 4 now.
He has had 4. I'm going to go out and say that Urban Meyer, and I am a big Urban Meyer guy. I did not like this hire. It just doesn't fit the Urban Meyer, and there was stupid people say stupid things about this. Dan Wolken wrote an article about how Urban Meyer's character and virtue thing was a whole crock of shit, or a whole scam, as he put it. This is the second truly bad. Like, Urban Meyer's had some bad players that have been, well, some of them have been criminals. Let's just put it as it is. Aaron Hernandez, for instance. Like, Urban Meyer has had a coach who is is related to him somehow. Zach Smith is related to him somehow. Has had a coach who did some shitty things. Like, let's not, we can't sugarcoat it. But Urban Meyer has always cut ties with them as quickly as he could. Zach Smith, when it came out that he was beating his wife and having an affair on campus, using campus facilities to have an affair with someone else, Urban Meyer fired him. He took the heat. He took the 3-game suspension too. This hire, I was not a fan of. I mean, Urban Meyer's known the guy for a long time. The whole resigning thing comes out almost out of the blue. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if, with all of the backlash, that someone from the Jaguars organization went to, or brought Doyle and Urban Meyer in the same room and like, look, we don't want this guy here. If he wants to resign, we could just say that and just make it look like a clean break, but we don't want him here. Either that or he's getting fired.
Right. Yeah, and I don't quite know. I don't think we'll probably ever know how it went down.
No.
How his resignation went down. I know there was a lot of big groups and whatnot that were very critical of the hire, and it just, and like you said, like, you didn't like it and I didn't like it either, and it just didn't make sense to me. Like, I feel like yeah, you might have known him for a long time, but then you come out and say, well, I vetted him, and I don't think it's gonna be a problem. Like, that to me is just really strange. I mean, I'm not against, like I said, I'm not against second chances. Like, in the Kyle Larson situation in NASCAR, like, do I think that the guy should be blacklisted from NASCAR forever? No, and it's we'll see what he does with his second opportunity here. But when you're talking about Chris Doyle, you are looking at not just a second chance. You're looking at way more than that,
like a fifth chance at this point.
And the guy has just, like, he hasn't even been out of a job, for half a year. Well, a little bit more than half a year. He got fired in June of last year.
So yeah,
And
like 7 months
7 months,
now.
8 months essentially.
Yeah.
And you're looking at like what? It's not. He just decided in these last 7 months. Oh, I decided I'm not a racist anymore. I'm not a piece of shit that overworks my players and friggin' drives them to death nearly. It's just it's nuts. It just doesn't. It
Yeah.
never made any sense to me because like of all like you can find a different guy for that position.
Yes.
Like that is not. You don't need
Yeah,
the
it
highest
was.
skilled guys for that. You can have a great strength and conditioning coach or group around your team, and like that position just
Yeah,
it just what nothing good. Nothing good can come of that.
Like this is just a weird story. So we're gonna move on. Russell Wilson has voiced displeasure with the Seahawks organization for how bad their offensive line has been. Which, well, their offensive line was bad. This especially this back half of the season. It's been bad his entire career, pretty much.
It's been bad his whole career,
and it's only gotten worse since Marshawn Lynch left, and they don't have a running game now.
Yeah, I mean, he's been sacked. I believe I saw more times since he entered the league than anyone else, and it's their offensive line, especially these last few years, has been putrid.
It's been atrocious. Here in the notes you have, will Seattle move him? I don't think so. I don't think. I don't
think he will either. Like, I know that it's just kind of been the theme of this offseason is big name quarterbacks, getting traded with Watson, Stafford, and, now possibly Russell Wilson. I don't think anyone's going to trade for him. Not that they wouldn't be interested in it, but I think the asking price on Russell Wilson would be far too high.
Yeah.
And, Seattle they're not a bad team. Like, just literally, I think the point of Russell coming public with this is just to say, hey, look, get me some protection, man. Like, that's what it's got to be. Like, and I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know where they're drafting at this year, but I wouldn't be surprised.
They're a mid-round pick just because they made the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
But
no,
I mean, still. Yeah, they made the playoffs.
Did they? Okay. I thought. Oh yeah, because there were 7 teams this year.
Yeah. They lost to the Rams and Jared Goff with a broken thumb or whatever.
Yeah.
That would be very interesting if he did get moved. I don't think it will happen, but I know Pat McAfee's been talking about it a lot. He wants him to come to Indianapolis for obviously biased reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're going to move him yet, and I don't think Russell necessarily wants to get moved. I just think he wants to not get hit as much.
Yeah,
which is not really asking a whole lot.
No, not at all.
When you've had a good team and you've just been sacked more than anyone else in the league since you've been here.
Yeah, I just think him getting traded or released it's not going to happen because they still.
Release. There's no way.
No,
not a chance. They would owe him way too much money.
Yeah, him leaving Seattle under contract is not going to happen.
No.
Just because A, the asking price in terms of trade is too high, and B, I think he wants to be there because the team's good. They're good enough to compete.
Yeah, he does too.
Outside of just that offensive line's bad. The defense has had some struggles, but the offense can. The offense can score enough points.
Oh yeah. There's no doubt, and I think they're going to make the playoffs next year again too. Assuming that the awful second half that they had this year doesn't carry into next year.
Yeah.
Like Russell Wilson's still, like in my mind, probably a top 5 quarterback. Like you cannot even if this second half of this season was like what we're gonna get from him, like. Then it gets a little bit tricky, but I don't think that that's just going to be the way that it is. I think that they struggled a bit and it just kind of spiraled and they had a rough end of the year. But No, I don't think he gets moved. I think there's just way too much going on. The asking price would be astronomical, and you can't do that.
If it wasn't for that first half or that second half of the season, he would have won MVP. Like that's it. He was he was that good.
He was having an MVP caliber season throughout the first half of the year, no question.
Yeah. So moving on from that, the Washington football team signed Taylor Heineke to a 2-year, $8.7 million deal. They have appeared to have found their quarterback for the next 2 years.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. Yeah, Taylor Heineke. That was a big surprise late in the year. You know, Washington used, I don't even know, 5 quarterbacks. I don't even know the exact number. I think they went
to 5 this year. 4 or 5.
At least 4, because you had Alex Smith, Dwayne Haskins, Taylor Heineke, probably some other bum.
McCoy.
You know, oh yeah, that's right, Colt McCoy. And he won him a game too.
Yeah.
But Taylor Heineke, great performance in the playoffs. Really, solid play when he got his chance this year. He definitely deserves a deal, and he deserves a look by the Washington football team. Hopefully, they have an actual name by the start of the next NFL season.
2021-2022 season.
Yeah, but well, apparently Washington football team is an option. It's on the table for them is to just keeping that name, but I don't think they'll actually do it. But yeah, no, great for Taylor Heineke. He deserves a good look in Washington, and it looks like he'll probably be the starter next year. Other than Heineke, I think they're going to have to go out and probably get another backup quarterback, because I wouldn't anticipate Alex Smith coming back. I would, like, at this point, if you're Alex Smith, like, just retire.
Yeah,
like, honestly, you proved all you can.
Because he had another injury at the end of the season too. Yeah, just
right. And he's been. You got to think Alex Smith is one of the longest tenured QBs in the league.
He was around
he came in what, 2004?
Something like that. Yeah.
Been in the league a long time, and got to the Super Bowl, one time. Even though Kaepernick was the quarterback of that 49ers team, but
I mean Smith was the quarterback for the first half of the season.
Yeah, yep, and then Jim Harbaugh did Jim Harbaugh things, but
after Alex Smith got injured. Poor guy. I feel bad for laughing about that, but yeah, Alex Smith, I think for him, he could maybe, like, there are places, like,
wants to play, absolutely, like, go out and play.
I think there are places that still need, because he could still start. He's proven that.
Yeah.
There are places that could still very well need a starter. Even after this draft, especially if you're a team that doesn't get Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence, and you don't want them starting right, because let's be honest, Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence are going to start right away wherever they go.
Houston might need a quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what their plan is with what they're going to do, but yeah, it looks like they're going to need a quarterback, assuming they do trade Deshaun Watson.
You get a team that gets like a Mac Jones or a Zach Wilson or a Kyle Trask. You don't necessarily want them to start their first year. You want to get someone like Alex Smith to come in and run the show for a year, maybe 2 years, and boom, then next thing you know, you got Kyle Trask or Zach Wilson or Mac Jones going.
Honestly, I couldn't think of a better guy to be that stopgap quarterback and have your draft pick, like first round draft pick quarterback. Couldn't think of a better guy, really. I mean, in a realistic scenario of the guys that you're looking at, teams that could get a new quarterback. Who would you rather have sitting, your new guy sitting behind than Alex Smith?
Not Andy Dalton.
Not Andy Dalton.
And final bit of the news here, I will take us home with the news, because you're going to be pretty much doing the entire NASCAR or the entire Daytona preview.
Believe so. Chime in whenever you feel like on the Daytona bit.
Okay. J.J. Watt was released by the Houston Texans.
Yeah. Wow.
This is
how things have turned.
This comes as a surprise, kind of, because I figured they would just trade him away instead of taking the hit?
I would imagine that he has some sort of no trade clause.
Yeah, that is all.
Now,
That is also very true.
I suppose at that point you could keep him, but you know, the guy's done so much for you. You know, you're in a rebuild situation anyway. Like the cap money shouldn't be a problem for the Houston Texans in these next couple of years. Like, just go ahead and get her done.
Yeah.
Let him go somewhere where he's going to be able to win a ring.
Yeah, and on top of that, my biggest thing, and I've said it several times the past 2 or 3 seasons. JJ Watt has not been. This is this past season. This 2020 season was the first time JJ Watt's played a full season in like 5 years. In maybe not 5, like 3 or 4 years. This is the first full season he's played.
It's been a couple of years since he's been healthy for a full year,
and
you know he just. You know, you can feel the frustration growing.
Oh yeah.
You know, when he had that press conference there towards the end of the season, where it's like, you know, just, you know, put the effort in, guys. It's like, come on. And, you know, I don't think he wants to, you know, as loyal as I think he probably is to Houston, at the same time, like, you don't want to have your entire career wasted there. And if he sticks around much longer, that's going to be the case. So you might as well go somewhere while you're still. I think J.J. Watt's probably still in his prime.
I think he's still good enough to play. He's still going to be a good pass rusher. Is he going to be? Now, here's been my thing with J.J. Watt the past couple of years. He has, outside of those 2 seasons leading up to those 2 seasons prior to when he signed that huge contract that at the time made him the highest paid defensive lineman in the NFL. Ever since then, and granted, he hasn't had full seasons. He has been statistically average, or statistically slightly above average. Ever since then, the Houston Texans defense with JJ Watt on the field has only given up 1/10 less of a yard.
Right, and you also have to think about, you know, even at this stage of his career, like J.J. Watt will still get double teamed.
Oh yeah,
it's just the way that he is. He's such a good player that you almost have to.
He still will. He'll still be disruptive, and he can.
Absolutely.
Going to a team that, like right now, I think if he went to the Buccaneers, they become Super Bowl favorites.
Like Shaq Barrett came out and said on the Bucs, he said, "I want to get paid."
Yeah.
And that's not quite how you keep a championship team together. Now we'll see what kind of money JJ Watt's gonna ask for. What's more important to him, winning or making the money? Like, he's already made the money, so I feel like he wants to go somewhere where he's going to be able to win.
He only has he's 32. He probably, as a defensive lineman, he probably doesn't have a lot more great years.
No,
because
not.
At some point, his lower body, his knees, ankles, and hips are just gonna stop. Like, let's be honest, the body, that's just how the body works. So at 32, he probably only has four, maybe 5 more years tops. And out of those 5 years, maybe could push it to 6 because of how many seasons he's had shortened because of injury. And out of those 4 to 6 years, he probably has 3 good ones.
Yeah, it's hard to predict, but yeah, I mean, the injury history there with JJ Watt, you know, you got to look at, you know, his time of being a real productive guy is closed. The window's closing really quickly for him.
Yes.
But you know, I hope he goes somewhere. Honestly, Pittsburgh would be a great spot for him. Go play with the 2 brothers and whatnot. And,
yeah, I think that'd be a good spot. But
they're a very good good team still. They might have might need to look for a quarterback. We don't know yet. We shall see. But JJ Watt to Pittsburgh, or I feel like just going to Tampa Bay and Kansas City is just not kind of JJ Watt's style. I feel like he'd want to go there and be a piece that really helps the team, not go somewhere where the team around you is already good enough to win. He wants to go there to go to a place and be a big reason as to why they got better.
I just don't think he cares at this point. Because
I don't know.
I just don't. Because here's the thing: as a player, it's like, would you rather win or would you rather? Oh, I helped the team improve. Would you like? Do you want to help the team improve? Yeah, but at this point in your career, in his career, why the fuck care? Like, he's only gonna go to one of three teams most likely. He's either gonna go to Pittsburgh, Tampa, or Kansas City.
Possibly.
Like I think there's only three teams. I don't think he's gonna go to Cleveland. I don't see that.
If he did, dear God.
Oh my God. He's
friggin' JJ Watt and Myles Garrett. Are you kidding?
That would be terrifying. I mean I don't think he's gonna go to Cleveland because there's just too many There's too many personalities in that team that he would clash with. I don't think he's going to go to Buffalo. I don't really think he's going to go to, I mean, Tennessee maybe, but hard to say. Don't think he's going to go to Baltimore. I don't think he's really going to go to any team in the NFC. I don't see him going to
Could you imagine the Watt brothers facing off 2 times a year with Baltimore and Pittsburgh?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We never hear the end of it.
No. That's all ESPN would talk about. So there's that. There's the news. Unless you have any final.
We do have not major breaking news here to wrap it up, but this actually got reported I think yesterday, but it's now finalized. Justin Turner returning to the Dodgers, 2 years, $34 million, $8 million signing bonus, and a 3rd-year option there for Justin Turner with the Dodgers. And the Mariners have signed James Paxton. He will go back to Seattle on a 1-year, $8.5 million deal. And, one more. Anthony Mantha has scored a goal tonight. I guess shouldn't come as a total shock. He does have 5 of them now.
Stop the presses.
Red Wings are up 4-1 right now. I mean, this is incredible.
Well,
incredible scenes.
It's a good thing that we had to change. I had to change all my backdoor cover stuff because my original virtual lock was the the Winnipeg Jets to beat the Ottawa Senators and the Nashville Predators to beat the Red Wings. I guess both teams did. The Senators and the Red Wings did have to win eventually.
They did. They weren't going to lose out.
I guess eventually they did have to win, and well, it looks like both of them are. So. If we would have done the podcast yesterday or Thursday or Wednesday like we had attempted, or we had planned, my virtual lock would have been a bust, and basically pretty much everything that I had for backdoor cover would have been a bust anyway. Oops. Oh. But hey, I had to change them, so
it doesn't count.
It doesn't count. Okay. Obviously, I just spoiled what our new segment is. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. I have this backwards. Daytona 500 preview segment. The vroom vroom turn left.
Yep, it's pretty much what it's all about. Turn left, go fast. If you ain't first, you're last.
That reminds me, I have Ricky Bobby is going to lead us in with this segment.
Well, Dak, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
Okay, there we go. Take it away.
What did you do?
Well, Dak, it's plain and simple. I'm the best there is. I wake up every morning and I piss excellence.
Yeah, he does. I need to watch that movie again. It's been a little while.
Yeah.
But I will get into the Daytona 500 preview, the segment that I decided to put in the show with no input from Austin, but that's okay.
Yeah, because I have no input on it anyway. I don't watch enough NASCAR as is.
Right.
I'm an F1 and IndyCar guy.
it's the biggest race of the year in terms of NASCAR. I figured we'd do it. Not like we're gonna do it, every single week. That would be ridiculous, and that won't happen. I promise. The Daytona 500 preview, just because Speed Weeks is such a spectacle. Speed Week, I guess it really is these days, since they did shorten it down. But of course, we had the Rolex 24. We didn't really talk about the Rolex 24 too much. We made it our one for the road a couple weeks ago.
Unofficial,
and,
because it was halfway over.
Yeah, the unofficial one. But Wayne Taylor Racing winning the Rolex 24 in the DPIs for the third year in a row. Just incredible there. And I'm not going to get too much into they're really, really good.
I want to say,
Chase
just on the Rolex 24 real quick. Like, I think with everything going on this year with just sports in general, like, it kind of got, the Rolex 24 kind of got forgot about. Like, I feel like it just kind of got forgot about, especially because here in America, like, endurance racing isn't, like, huge.
Yeah, no, it's a very small.
It's niche.
That,
and I do like watching the Rolex 24. It got forgot about this year because everything going on with COVID and sport. When I say everything going on with in the world of sports because of COVID, yeah, it got moved to the back burner on basically everything.
Don't quite know if it did, because there was a lot of, like you said, endurance racing in the United States is not very popular. Like you said, it's a very niche thing, but we did have a lot of star power in this year's race. Chase Elliott with Cadillac, Jimmy Johnson driving the Cadillac DPIs. Austin Dillon was in the race, and Austin Dillon, I don't know if you saw this in practice, screwed up, got loose on corner entry or something, and ran off on what he thought was just a runoff area, and it turned out, and I don't know, this is they roasted Austin Dillon for this, the commentators did, and I don't quite understand why. Like, I get it. Like, it was pretty boneheaded. Like, if you've been doing this, running the Daytona road course for a long time. But why do they have what looks like a runoff area that goes into oncoming traffic?
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I saw something about that.
I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
I
no.
get that it's stupid, but, like, you got to think, Austin Dillon's run the Daytona road course maybe once or twice. Because I was going to say, I know NASCAR, went there last year, but I mean, overall,
I say he's probably ran it. Probably once. This was the second time, most likely.
Twice. And I think he probably ran it again a second time, but this is after the fact.
Yeah.
But good Rolex 24. Chase Elliott had a pretty rough go of it. His whole team in general, but not necessarily him. They had some mechanical issues when Chase wasn't even in the car. Jimmy Johnson, a little bit more quiet, but still pretty, just good to see that guys like that want to get into endurance racing, and they still think it's a big enough deal to go out and do it. So I think that's very cool. So I just thought I'd bring up the Rolex 24 since I was going to be doing a bit of a recap of Speed Weeks anyway.
Yep. Now go ahead. Take us away.
We have the Busch Clash, which used to be run on the oval. If you ask me, I wish it was still there. I get that nobody really does anything too exciting in the Clash. Everyone's just kind of playing it safe. And it's kind of the same thing with the duels in terms of just the racing. Like, there's just not enough cars. Like, when the way the package is at Daytona right now, you need a full field of cars like we'll see in the Daytona 500 to really put a good run together on the inside. Otherwise, it just turns into a freight train on the outside part of the track. And it's not very fun to watch. But, NASCAR's, pushing for more road courses and whatnot. After the Daytona 500, we're just going to stay at Daytona and go race in the Daytona road course, which is very interesting there. I would have left the Clash on the oval because, the argument was, well, we don't want to see, it's just like an unofficial practice session. And, don't want to give a select few, more practice than that. Well, you're still doing that if you're just going to run the road course the very next week. And now I get that wasn't intended the race at Auto Club got moved to the Daytona road course, but you know, it is what it is. Shitty circumstances. Overall, pretty good race. Chase Elliott was really good in this one, as expected. He's a great road racer. Ryan Blaney, same thing. Came down to those two in the final little chicane right before the tri-oval at Daytona International Speedway. Chase Elliott sends it in on Ryan Blaney, hits the curb, the turtle, as they so often like to call them these days. They're sausage curbs. It's the way it goes. But Chase Elliott hits the
turtles.
Curb, loses control of his car, and runs into Ryan Blaney. They both spin. Kyle Busch steals the win. Like I said, good race. Very, very similar to what we saw Jimmy Johnson and Martin Truex Jr. do the first time that they went to the Roval. But you know, if it wasn't for Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney being two really good friends, and you know it being a non-points race, maybe there would have been something more of this. I mean, Ryan completely understood. He was like, you were going for the win, man. I can't blame you. I probably would have done the same damn thing. And Kyle Busch steals the win. Then we had Daytona 500 pole qualifying, which, of course, is just for the front row. And we'll get to some front row nonsense here in a moment.
Oh, God, I heard about that.
Yeah. It's really, you know, I don't know. There's of course the problem there, but I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
But yes, Alex Bowman completely demolished the time of the eventual outside pole sitter William Byron. Hendrick Motorsports always qualifies well at Daytona. It's just how it's been. How it's probably always going to be. And, you know, I always see people say, like, well, oh, this shit's just rigged, you know. I just want to put the biggest names up there. Well, Alex Bowman's not the biggest name, so I don't know what you're talking about there. But I get he's driving the 48, but, jeez.
When your car goes vroom, vroom.
I mean,
goes vroom, vroom.
They put so much into their Daytona program, and especially qualifying well. The front row of the Daytona 500 means a lot to Hendrick Motorsports, and it's always been that way, and you see it.
Yeah.
And you know, whether it be Bowman, he's been on the front row I think 3 straight years now. Chase Elliott's won a couple poles. William Byron, I believe, won a couple years ago. You know, it's just so good. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. somehow snuck in there and won the pole last year, but that's beside the point. So I will get into now the Blue Green Vacations duels. Man, I miss when they had an actual like catchy name. Like, I get that it's gonna be sponsored regardless. Like, but when they were the Gatorade duels, man, that was actually cool. Blue Green Vacations. Who the hell's that? But yeah, these were eventful.
4 Seasons Total Landscaping.
I don't know.
That's all I got.
Bob's Septic Service? I don't know. The Blue Green Vacations duels. The first one in terms of racing, very, very lackluster. Like I said, you don't have a full field of cars. You got half a field of cars. You can't really put the good runs together on the bottom of the track. You need more cars down there to do that. And especially in the duels, you know, everyone's really just trying to play it safe because you don't want to go to a backup car. You don't want to be too aggressive and make a block or, you know, have some stupidity happen and wind up in the back. You know, I get it's Daytona. It's a bit of a shit show at times, but you don't want to be starting in the back. That's for certain, because things can go so wrong and it can go badly for you very quickly. But
especially if you're in the back. Safe.
What's that?
Especially if you're in the back.
Especially if you're in the back, yeah. But overall, boring race. Eric Almirola really dominated. It looks like he's got a fast Ford Mustang this week. Very, very impressive from him. Good to see him up front as well. You know, Eric Almirola has been, you know, really improving every single year with Stewart Haas Racing. And, you know, I know he's got a win mixed in there, but I think this year maybe he gets a win or two. Maybe even in the Daytona 500. I would not put it past him. He's always raced well here. But boring race up until the very end. Alex Bowman with a great power move on the outside of, I don't even remember. Who the fuck was going to win that race? I don't know.
Almirola?
Alex. No, it was not Alex Bowman. I mean, Almirola with a great power move on the outside.
I'll say. I'm looking at the notes.
Eric Almirola did win the duel, yes, and he will start either third or second. I'm not quite sure how this is going to work due to circumstances we'll get to in the second duel. Alex Bowman did have a moment. He came over the radio at some point in the race early on, about 20 laps in, and said, look, I think the thing's blowing up. And this is your pole sitter for the Daytona 500. He says, look, I think it's blowing up. He comes down pit road. The duels mean nothing to the people who have qualified on the front row. They just, honestly, like, they could just start and park it. Like, there's no reason to risk it. But it is a good test session to see what your car is going to be like in the draft, so I get why they still continue to race in it, these front row guys. So he pulls down pit road. They got the hood up. It's not looking good. They made some changes, and, you know, to the team's credit, they definitely did a good job in getting that car back out there. They didn't have any issues the rest of the race, although they were far off the pace. Well, not off the pace, but they were, you know, just not able to really stick with the draft and anything like that. So a bit of an interesting duel for Alex Bowman, but it looks like everything might be fine. He has not gone to a backup car, so it looks like he will be starting on pole for the Daytona 500. So we move on to duel number 2, which was completely the opposite of the first one, where I said nobody really wanted to risk anything. Everyone was playing it safe. Man, people were not playing it safe.
Threw that out the window.
They threw that out the window completely. They were racing. They were making passes. We had about 4 or 5 lead changes in the first 20 laps. It was incredible. Great racing. If we can do that on Sunday, Daytona 500 is going to be outstanding. Late in the race, we did have, by the way, from duel number 1, we did have one issue. Final lap, Cole Custer spun, and he hit the wall. Due to his duel finish, he was going to start in the back anyway, but now he's going to start in the very, very back.
General Custer, come on.
Yeah. Custer didn't. Coleslaw Custer did not get the job done, but you know, is what it is. But the second duel did have a couple wrecks. Anthony Alfredo was involved in one.
Chicken Alfredo.
Chicken Alfredo, yes. He was involved in a wreck. He got a little bit messed up, and then late in the race. Who the fuck was that? Whoever was in the 13. I don't even remember. I don't even think he's a regular, but he tried to make a move on the outside of Noah Gragson. They were battling for a spot in the Daytona 500. Tried to make a move. Brad Keselowski was already coming up. You know, just one of those racing deals. Nobody really turned anybody, but caused a big crash that involved our outside pole sitter, William Byron. Hit the wall really hard with the back end of his car. He has to go to a backup car. I'll get to the full list of guys going to the rear of the field here momentarily. The notes are all out of order, but
yes,
anyway.
they are. I just keep I'm bouncing right, poor for fuck.
Right. I'm I don't know what's going on with these notes, and I did write them, so that's even worse. But really great race. You know, we had the NASCAR overtime after that wreck. Bubba Wallace took the lead on the final lap Martin Truex Jr. was absolutely hung out to dry. No help. He was going to get swallowed up. He had 2 lanes of cars coming at him. Bubba Wallace makes a move to the inside as Truex comes up to block the high lane. Did the best he can. He really didn't block too much. He just kind of knew his fate and just stuck it in the middle. He tried to block, but it was too late. Bubba Wallace sneaks to the inside, but then the same problem that Truex had. He was too far out in front. Nothing you can do about it. Austin Dillon's got help behind him. Bubba did what he could, came up the block. Austin Dillon had the entire 2 bottom lanes of the racetrack to go down and make the pass to win duel number 2. So Austin Dillon takes the 3-car back to victory lane at Daytona.
The second time in 4 years.
Couple years. I wish I had my camera on it. I'd go find that Austin Dillon autographed hat I bought for $5 at Salvation Army. But oh Jesus. But yes. So the duel winners, Eric Almirola and Austin Dillon, 2 guys that always show up for these super speedway races. So no surprise to see them win their duels. Austin Dillon. But really, both guys with great moves on the final lap out of turn 4 to win these duel races. and guarantee their top 4 starting spots. Just incredible. Almirola was amazing. I thought he was dead to rights. Like, he got passed on the inside out of turn 4. But he stayed right by him, got the side draft. Really great pass by Eric Almirola. If he can get in that situation again on Sunday, going to be absolutely amazing for him. And then Austin Dillon, great dive, move to the inside, knew exactly what he had to do and just made it happen. So the full list of guys that are going to a backup car, actually, I'll get into the people who made the race first, because we did have more than 40 cars try to qualify for this race, which means with Daytona, the duels are so important, or so we thought.
Yeah,
Duel number one. Duel number 1 happened. Dear God. Ty Dillon was in a golden spot to make the Daytona 500. He got passed by Ryan Preece on the final lap. Now, why is that important, you might ask? Ryan Preece is not a chartered car. He does not have a guaranteed starting spot in the Daytona 500. But at Busch Pole qualifying, Ryan Preece on speed had already guaranteed himself a shot in the race. His qualifying time had guaranteed him a spot. But he's still in the duels. He passes Ty Dillon, and then that activates one of the most stupid NASCAR rules, and there's a lot of them. A lot of stupid NASCAR rules out there. One of the stupidest rules I think I've ever heard of. Because, so this guy has already made the Daytona 500, right? And he passes a guy that has not made the Daytona 500. For whatever reason, if the guy who is already in on his qualifying time beats another guy, it then puts another guy's qualifying time in. So somebody's going to make the race on their qualifying speed. And since Ryan Preece essentially raced his way in, Austin Cindric, who was a lap down in 16th place after speeding on pit road, looking to completely screw his opportunity at making the race. And by the way, that's a Team Penske car that nearly missed the Daytona 500 because it's not chartered. It's a one-off seemingly for Austin Cindric. Interesting situation. But Austin Cindric makes the race by finishing 16th a lap down. Ty Dillon, who finished 7th, does not, which is very unfortunate. Gaunt Brothers Racing has just had some awful luck in the duels these last 2 years, and for a small team, that just absolutely sucks. Last year with Daniel Suarez getting caught up in somebody's mess, trying to get onto pit road.
Yeah.
And now this year with this nonsense. And now I will also say that Kaz Grala had raced his way into the Daytona 500. And no, I put in the notes, this isn't the same way he raced in. It is, but it's not egregious because Kaz Grala still finished ahead of the person that he was racing for the 2 people he was racing for the spot. Now, granted, he was the only one still running because Noah Gragson and I don't know if it's, I feel like it was Josh Palicki. I don't even know that got caught up in that accident racing for that transfer spot.
Now, I will, as I said when I looked at the notes to you, as I said to you when I was looking at the notes, who? Kaz Grala. Who?
He's,
for all of the...
I will explain.
All of the viewers who don't really follow NASCAR that much, please, explain.
Kaz Grala is mainly a Truck Series guy who is in a... one-off here for Colleague Racing, who, by the way, Colleague Racing, shout out to those guys. I mean, they've really, really shown up and put together a really solid team, mainly in the Xfinity Series, but to try and go full-time Cup racing this year, great job to those Colleague guys. You guys have really earned it. But, yeah, no, Kaz Grala is mainly a Truck Series guy. He does have, I believe, 1 career win in the Truck Series. I am going to look this up because I don't want to be wrong. I remember he won at Daytona a couple years ago with an outstanding finish. Let's see here. Yes, only the 1 year. First win was 2017 at Daytona in the Truck Series. If I remember correctly, that was the race that featured Matt Crafton absolutely launched into the air. Yeah, he's a nice young driver in the series. Might be something someday. Has had affiliations with a whole shit ton of teams. I mean, RCR, now Colleague. I feel like he was even maybe a Toyota guy at some point. Kind of bounced around, but great for Kaz Grala and Colleague Racing. It's not
good for him,
the
though.
same egregious nonsense that Austin Cindric made the race on. Like, because at that point, people wanted to point out, oh, well, Kaz Grala made the race this way. Okay, well, he still finished ahead of the guy. Like, it just exploits the nonsense that is that rule, and it's so bad. But those are your two. Actually, let me bring up the results of the second duel real quick, because somebody else, again, somebody did qualify on time before the duels and race their way in, which is what, in essence, put Kaz Grala into the field. But he would have made it anyway. So let's see here. David Reagan. David Reagan was the one who did qualify on speed. He finished ahead of Kaz Grala. Kaz did have he was involved in the earlier wreck with Anthony Alfredo and a couple other guys. But his car was not too badly damaged. He was still running and still pretty much at speed. So good on those guys. So now there's a reason I did that beforehand, because now we get into the guys that are going to the rear. And that is Brad Keselowski, who was involved in the wreck at the end of the second duel, the one that came down on the guy who I do believe is Josh Bilicki, who I'm not entirely sure. Let's see, since I have the results up. Was I correct? Nope, I was completely wrong. It was Garrett Smithley. That's right.
Okay, I wasn't going to correct you because I didn't know.
Yeah, I totally forgot. I mean, it's just one of those guys that, cracks a Cup Series field every so often and, whatever. But, Brad Keselowski got caught up in the wreck at the end of duel number 2. Kaz Grala with the deal with Anthony Alfredo. He will go to a backup car. Anthony Alfredo will indeed go to a backup car as well. Cole Custer, who I mentioned, who wrecked at the end of duel number 1. I keep wanting to say stage because fucking NASCAR has me programmed to say it. And then Ross Chastain, which is another really unfortunate one. You want a good start to the season for Ross Chastain. He's finally got the big opportunity that he's deserved for so long. Should have been a Chip Ganassi racing in the Cup Series a couple of years ago, and then things just went wrong. But now he's got an opportunity in the formerly Kyle Larson's 42, and I hope he has a great season. A lot of people have thought really highly of Ross Chastain for quite some time.
So we have coleslaw and chicken Alfredo in the back. It's a party back there, apparently.
Yep. And
things I never thought I would say.
And it's just so sad. I think looking at the field that we have for the Daytona 500 and the current system in terms of making a race in NASCAR,
it's goofy.
Austin Cindric would have had no issue making the field for the Daytona 500 if it wasn't for the charter system.
Yeah.
The charter system is the most broken thing that will kill teams. It could literally kill a team someday. And just, nobody cares because Rob Kaufman, its brainchild, is out here making money off of it.
Yeah, it's just so dumb.
Is what it is. Like, the fact that we have guaranteed spots in all of the races for 35 teams, and then there's just some open spots for some guys just because you paid the money and you bought a charter. It's so ridiculous. Derek Cope is 62 years old. He had a guaranteed spot in the Daytona 500. He was running laps off the pace in the duels, and I don't know if that was just him playing it safe. The quote from Derek Cope for this upcoming weekend kind of scares me. Oh, the other drivers are going to know I'm there. Yeah, probably because you're going to get in front of them as they're trying to lap you.
Right.
Haven't run a Cup race in 2 years. Haven't run a Daytona in 9. It's a joke. But like the Rick Ware racing cars, guaranteed a spot in the Daytona 500.
So dumb.
The worst team on the grid. And you got guys like David Reagan. And I know David Reagan's in a one-off car for Front Row Racing. He comes back for Daytona and in some super speedway races a couple of years. And he's great at the super speedways. But front row racing is plenty good enough to qualify for these races, and yet they have to qualify on speed or win their way in the duels, because guys like teams like Rick Ware Racing and a second, I believe it's a second Starcom racing car, have to with Derek Cope have to, you know, or just guaranteed a spot in the 500. It's just an absolute joke. And like the charter system could
It's just
like,
so dumb.
the charter system in NASCAR could be chump of the year for the next 10 years, because Lord knows they're not going to change it because it would cost them money.
So you're telling me that's your chump of the week?
No.
Oh.
But last little bit on the Daytona 500. The current top 3 favorites to win the Daytona 500, I believe everywhere, but I wouldn't imagine anybody just throwing somebody else into the mix. It's Denny Hamlin, who's looking to win his 3rd straight Daytona 500, his 4th overall. He is currently a plus 800. Chase Elliott at last check was a plus 1,000. Ryan Blaney at a plus 1,200.
I say right on FanDuel, Ryan Blaney was a plus 1,000.
Yep. I think it went up, either that or I was looking at whatever. Those are the 3 drivers that are favored to win the Daytona 500. 3 good favorites. Why Chase Elliott is up there that high, I don't quite know. He really, and it's not due to any bit of his talent, but he has really had some rough luck at super speedway races, but not necessarily super speedway races, because he's won Talladega before. But at Daytona, he's been really just kind of cursed with some bad luck. So I ask you this question: your unofficial, because we're not doing the picks this week, but your unofficial Daytona 500 pick.
I went with Ryan Blaney.
Not a bad one.
Yeah, I would say it's not a terrible pick.
Not a bad one at all.
And Denny Hamlin, like, I mean, that 3 in a row stat, his possible 3rd in a row, like, Daytona's just too much.
It's nuts. It's nuts, and that is exactly why, and you see it in the Vegas odds, even Denny Hamlin, who's considered the favorite, and you know, rightfully so, is a plus 800.
Yeah.
That just goes to show you how chaotic it is, because even Vegas is like, well, the guy that's won this race 3 of the last 4 years, I believe, or at least 3 of the last 5.
I think it's 3 of the last 4, yeah.
17, 18, 19. I think it's 3 of the last 4.
Yeah, I think it is.
But it's a plus 800, and that just speaks to the chaotic nature of Daytona. And you know, it's gonna be a wild race. I love it. I love super speedway racing. I love NASCAR. Where's that song when we need it? But yeah, Ryan Blaney, a very good pick, man. And I don't even know why I put this in here, because I don't even know who I want to pick. Eric Almirola is a good one. I'm just gonna name out a couple good ones. Eric Almirola is a very good pick. His car looked very, very fast, and it was able to stay at the front of the field for a long, long time, and nobody really was able to get by him. Now, that does speak more to the nature of duel number 1, that he just, you know, nobody really wanted to make any moves.
Now, I will also say, because I did pick a couple winners on FanDuel. I will.
Yep.
Eric Almirola was one of my others, and then so was Denny. I did have Denny Hamlin in there too. And on FanDuel, I just opened the casino portion of the app, so it's gonna take me a minute to get back to where I was. Continue now.
No, I'll just get into some guys that have shown some good speed this week. Almirola's been fast. You can't really count out those Hendrick cars ever. You know, I know they usually get into some nonsense, but you know, that's just how Daytona goes. But they got the speed to be really good. Gonna come down probably to, you know, which manufacturer is in the best position, and I feel like that really narrows it down to Chevrolet and Ford. There's just not enough Toyotas to really gang up on each other as there is Chevys and Fords. Fords have been really fast. The Penske Fords with the Wood Brothers Racing team as well. Very, very fast this week. Of course, the Hendrick guys. Joe Gibbs has been fast, but again, they just get outnumbered so quickly. And a big part of Daytona these days is working as a team and getting to the front and having your whole entire team up there. And we've seen it even as far back as the 2001 Daytona 500 many years ago. You know, when DEI was up there and Michael Waltrip's leading and Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s in second, Dale Earnhardt Sr. in third. And you know, it's all about who you got up there, because when you're all in sync and you're working as a team and you get to the front at Daytona, you're hard to beat unless something goes wrong. And as I wrap up the Daytona 500, I didn't put this in the notes, but it is the 20th anniversary of the death of Dale Earnhardt this year. This year's Daytona 500. Just incredible to see the growth of the safety of the sport in the years since, because you got to think about it. Like, we haven't seen a death in NASCAR since 20 years since we've seen a death in NASCAR. And that's absolutely incredible, and it speaks to the safety of the sport. And it's just fantastic to see, you know, and some other motorsports are like that as well. You know, safety is improved all around.
Just to move on from NASCAR, just not just NASCAR. I mean, we've had a couple in F1. Recent memory, Anthony Hubert last year was, or no, 2 years ago now. I'm sorry. And then there was one in 2014 in F1, and then there was one in IndyCar back in 20.
IndyCar's had a lot.
Yeah.
And, you know, credit to them again, you know, like
just the safety, the advancements in safety, though, have
I think NASCAR and F1 and motorsports mostly around the world have done a really good job of it. IndyCar still has a way to go. I mean, it's just so blatantly obvious. And you look at, you know, even Robert Wickens' crash, and you know, we've added the windscreen, which is a big improvement, and you know, we'll see what the results of that are. But you know, IndyCar has had
the last
quite
one
a
was
few,
in
whether
IndyCar.
it's, you know, whether it's Robert Wickens, and you know, he's, you know, the crash wasn't fatal, but you know, he's been in rough shape ever since, trying to work his way back. You go back to Dan Weldon, Justin Wilson.
Okay, yeah,
you know,
Justin Wilson was in 2015.
guys.
That was the last one I was looking for.
Yeah, the last fatality in IndyCar, I believe. But
yeah,
you know, you still look at we've had some really gnarly crashes, and I hope the windscreen works out. But to not dwell too long on this, just great job by NASCAR to really improve the safety of the sport. And you know, they were doing it back then too, you know, with the Hans device and the safety of the cars and everything. And you know, it's unfortunate that Dale was not wearing a Hans device at the time, because it just wasn't required. They didn't have that happen then. And you know, the unfortunate part is that it would have saved his life. But you know, 20 years later, still celebrating a great champion in NASCAR. And you know, even seeing the number 3 car back in victory lane with Austin Dillon this week was really cool. And you know, it's not anything that I think is going to get lost on anybody. I mean, 20 years later, and I feel like people are still just as hurt about it as they were then. I mean, I was like 6 years old.
Yeah, I was 5.
I was like 6 years old, and I'm watching the Daytona 500, and my dad was a big Dale Earnhardt fan, and which means me at 6 years old, I'm taking after that. And you know, it was a devastating blow, and for sure, and that was the reason I was a big Dale Earnhardt Jr. fan for so long, carrying on the legacy of his dad, and one of the greatest champions the sport's ever seen.
Yeah, I don't really have much to add on to that, but it is great to see how the sport how NASCAR has improved in terms of safety hazards, and hopefully motorsport, not just NASCAR, but motorsports as a whole, can continue that path. No matter what the plugs over it on F1 social media pages say.
Yeah, dude. The halo has proven itself. It proved itself with Charles Leclerc in his first year, and it's proven itself now with Roman Grosjean. Any discussion about the halo being
oh god,
on the cars,
that Grosjean crash.
First off, I don't even notice the halo anymore. Like, as a fan watching the race, I'm used to it.
Yeah.
It's not hideous. It was just different. And even if it was hideous, it could be the most hideous thing I've ever seen on a race car. I don't care. If it's saving drivers' lives and we can see that,
Yeah.
that's all that matters.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, back to NASCAR real quickly. I mean, you look back at just how many deaths we were seeing back at that time, like Dale Earnhardt, Adam Petty, Tony Roper in the Truck Series, even go back as far as Neil Bonnet. I mean, we were getting fatalities on a very, very regular basis, and you know, we just to see the improvements and to see that just stop. And I'm not saying injuries haven't happened, but you know, other than Ryan Newman's crash last year, they've been fairly, you know, minor and something that somebody can come back from in a couple weeks. It's really just great to see the advancements of the sport that, you know, the sport that was my number one growing up. And of course it's probably since changed, but you know, I was, you know, I fucking 5-6-year-old kid. Who isn't going to love cars going around a circle fast?
Making loud noise.
It's made for kids. But,
right.
But anyway, that'll wrap up my my Daytona 500 preview. If I have to put an official pick down, man, Eric Almirola. I'm gonna go with it.
Yeah.
I thought he was really good in the duels. I will say, I kind of hope Christopher Bell wins because I may have accidentally put a bet down on him.
Oops.
Yeah,
was it a big one?
It was $50.
What are his odds? Like, isn't he plus like
he is
20,000?
plus. No, he's not plus 20,000. He's in a good Joe Gibbs car. If he's in there at the end, he's got a shot to win it. But no, he's plus 1,800.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, which could net me $1,800, which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna be rooting for Christopher Bell this weekend. I don't know about you, but
I didn't put any big money on any NASCAR drivers, so
I intend to.
And then you did. Alrighty though.
Well, that's what they get for putting the backspace button to edit your bet right next to the place bet button.
Oops. Alrighty then, though. Let's move on to the Super Bowl 55 recap. I will lead us through this because, well, I know football. Donald Trump says
football too, but I've been talking for a little bit.
Donald Trump says he knows wind in some of his speeches. Well, I know football.
He knows wind.
All of that stuff we said on last week's episode, on last week's podcast, well, we were wrong. We were wrong about what color Gatorade was going to be dumped on the winning coach. We were wrong just about everything. We were wrong.
I will point out that I was right slightly more.
Yeah, you were right a little bit more.
But I was wrong more often than I was right.
You were right a little bit more than I was. I will admit that. All that stuff we talked about last week, the opposite happened. Yeah. Kansas City opened up the Super Bowl scoring with a 49-yard field goal. They kicked
field goals would become a theme for the Kansas City Chiefs.
The Kansas City Chiefs kicked field goals. Tom Brady, on the other hand, finally accounted for a first quarter touchdown through his first quarter touchdown pass in a Super Bowl in his career. That gave the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the lead. They never trailed again because, as this little graphic says below me, it was 31-9. The Kansas City Chiefs kicked 3 field goals, and, well, yeah, they kicked field goals. Tom Brady.
I mean, great for their kicker, I suppose.
Yeah, Tom Brady
Super
was
Bowl to remember. I don't think he'll remember it fondly, but
I don't think he'll like remembering it. Tom Brady was efficient. He was by no means world beating, but he didn't have to be again. He went 21 for 29 for 201, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. well, we'll talk about the one interception that should have happened here momentarily. Because
yes, we will. And please, please, please read what I put down there.
I already have.
Section.
I have.
No, not read it, but read it out loud.
Oh, okay. We will get to that in a moment. Kansas City's offensive line missing both of their starting tackles, so they were essentially 7 deep at this point. That they didn't just get outmatched by Tampa; they got outmatched by Jason Pierre-Paul.
With 7.5 fingers, baby.
And Ndamukong Suh was there on occasion too. Patrick Mahomes didn't have
as much as I do have hatred in my heart as a Lions fan for Ndamukong Suh and the bullshit that he pulled when he was wearing the Honolulu blue and silver. Great for Ndamukong Suh. I believe we've now drafted 2 Super Bowl champions. There might be more, but at least Ndamukong Suh and Lomas Brown.
Yeah. The Tampa Bay Fighting Tom Brady's had 38 quarterback pressures. Kansas City had 5. That's not to say everything was perfect for Tom Brady. A snap went over his head about 20 yards at one point. And clearly not his fault. No.
I mean, good God.
I have never seen Tom Brady run that fast in my life, though.
Right.
And because the NFL is stupid when it comes to counting how they count negative plays in terms of sacks for whether it's passing yards or rushing yards, that was not rushing yards. So if you had the Tom Brady rushing for the over on Tom Brady rushing for more than half a yard, you were safe until the end of the game when he still didn't rush for 1 yard.
I was safe.
It seemed like a good bet, and then, well, Tom Brady didn't rush for 1 yard.
I'm glad I only put $10 on that. But
Tom Brady did not rush for 1 yard, and on his Instagram story, he wanted EA to put his speed up in Madden. Tommy boy, that's not going to happen. Back to the offensive line. Patrick Mahomes, with how bad that offensive line was for the Chiefs, was still magnificent. But nobody on Kansas City's offense could catch the ball. Somehow they were only credited with 5 drops, even though I know Travis Kelce had, I bet, about 10.
Travis Kelce, now, mind you, because I know we had talked about it, and you had said that they dropped 20 balls, which honestly does feel more accurate. Travis Kelce got credited with 1.
He had a ball hit him in the head, and it went through his hands, off his face mask, back through his hands.
The way the NFL works drops, though, that's how it broke down. It's got to hit your hands.
It's still a drop.
Whether it doesn't get credited as a drop in the official NFL rulebook, because I fucking went on Pro Football Reference to find that number. I went to about 5 sites beforehand before I was just like, fuck it, Pro Football Reference, they're gonna have it. And 5 drops.
There was definitely more than 5.
Yeah, but again, the NFL does not credit drops well.
No, they don't. They were only credited with 5, even though if you go back and watch the game, it looked to be about 20. 20, which has to be close to a record. Probably is a record. Before we get
it would be if they counted them.
If they counted them properly, it'd probably be a record. Before we get into the topic of conversation, Tom Brady did win the MVP. But, well, because he's a quarterback, he was going to get it anyway. Who would I have given the MVP to? I would have probably given it to Gronk. Because he was good.
He was good, and he had a decent... It wasn't half of Tom Brady's passing yards, but it was a decent chunk and 2 of the 3 touchdowns. And I'm not just saying that because I put a late bet on Gronk to win the MVP, but no, I thought Gronk was a good choice. I wouldn't have put money on it if I didn't think that he had a shot at winning it. And but if we're truly going to name a defensive MVP, I don't know.
Jason Pierre-Paul.
The offense put up 31 points. Jason Pierre-Paul, Devin White, any one of those guys. I heard some people on, I believe it was First Take, talking about giving the MVP to the entire defense.
I mean, I guess.
I don't know if it's ever been done before, but
well, that's just First Take that's just what Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith do. They just say things.
Max Kellerman, real quickly, dear God, he was so dumb on First Take the day after the Super Bowl. Well, to say that, yes, I was surprised that the score was what it was, but to say that you know, Kansas City looked as bad as they were, to say I'm surprised about that? No, the you mean? I picked the Bucs and I'm surprised.
I think everybody's surprised. I think I'm sure Tom Brady's still sitting at home and be like, wait, we won that easily?
I don't know if Tom Brady is coherent enough to have those thoughts yet. But,
he's still probably blasted.
Max Kellerman got roasted by Stephen A. Smith and whoever the host, the moderator was that day. I think it was Molly Kareem. Said, like, Max, this is just embarrassing at this point. Just shut up.
Yeah. Now, let's get to the point of discussion, the point of contention between many.
And now I will say, we agree on a lot of stuff on this show when it comes to what we discuss on the podcast. Do we completely disagree on this? No, but we do have some disagreement mixed in.
Now, I will say there is I said at the top of the show, with Stupid People Say Stupid Things, Mike Freeman was not in Stupid People Say Stupid Things. But he's gonna factor in the show in this little portion here. Yes, he is. Why? Because he actually wrote an article that wasn't.
Here's why.
Absolute shit.
Wow.
The notes say, refs, yada yada yada. A discussion.
So let me explain that just a bit.
I will
because I saw after the game and even in posts that the NFL and other media outlets had made sense, and you know about the Bucs winning the Super Bowl and whatnot, and people were literally comment one word, refs.
Yeah, no reason why, just
no
refs. What about it's kind of like Jeff Gordon. Look at this. That's what it was like. They would say refs, and it just every time I would see that, it's like it just reminded me of Jeff Gordon's. Look at this.
Since you brought up the refs, I am going to make one last very quick NASCAR thing. Jeff Gordon and Clint Boyer and Mike Joy are going to be so great in the booth this year. God, I've enjoyed Clint Boyer in the booth. It's incredible. Like in the Xfinity race today. Tony Stewart was up in the booth with I don't even know who's calling the Xfinity race. I think Adam Alexander, Clint Boyer, and Tony Stewart. And in the midst of a wreck, Stuart Haas car was narrowly missed something, and they're looking at the replay. Oh, Tony, this looks expensive.
Oh, that's great.
I love Clint Boyer in the booth, but let's continue on the Super Bowl stuff.
Well, the refs, they were there. They weren't bad. I'm gonna say the refs were not bad.
Okay.
And I've said this before, and then I'm actually going to reference a Mike Freeman USA Today article while talking about this. I've said it several times this week about the Super Bowl. The refs were not bad. There was no grand scheme by the NFL to get Tom Brady to win because, again, as I said last week, this Super Bowl with everything going on, like this Super Bowl, in terms of just straight the casual fans, isn't that big of a deal to as many. Like this Super Bowl right here is not that big of a deal to as many casual fans because they're sick of being blasted by sports media and media in general about Tom Brady or the Kansas City Chiefs.
And in a way, I mean, I feel like the ratings sort of reflect that. There was a 15% drop. 90-some million people still tuned into the Super Bowl.
Oh, I mean, there's always still going to be a lot of people. But again, there was a 15% drop. Like, this isn't.
I don't know if that had anything to do with that, but I mean, there was a significant drop.
Yeah. Like, this is at the end of this Super Bowl, like, this is not one of those games as tailored. This is not one of those Super Bowls that is phenomenal for the casual fan, because you just look at it and you're like a casual fan will just look at it and like, oh, it's Tom Brady again, and it's the Chiefs again. Whoop-de-doo. And then on top of that, you add in,
oh look, it's 24-6.
Yeah. Then there's that, and then you throw that in there too at one point, and then you toss into the factor that theoretically, because of COVID, there probably shouldn't have been too many Super Bowl parties. Were there some? Most likely still, yes. No doubt. This was not some back to my original point. This was not some grand conspiracy by the NFL to get Tom Brady to win a game. The refs did not suck. The refs themselves were not bad. How this game played out in terms of rules violations was not the refs. It's just how the NFL's rule book is written. And this is where I'm going. This is where I'm going to reference this Mike Freeman article. This inconsistency, 1 week, or 2 weeks ago, if you look at the NFC Championship game and then the AFC Championship game, officials were letting the defensive backs and receivers especially were just letting the players get away with murder.
Yes.
A couple weeks later, everything is getting called. Now, I will say, yes, there was a discrepancy in terms of the Chiefs getting things called against them. That has... For anyone to sit and say that has any... Real quick, because I know what you're going to say. For anyone who wants to say, well, the Buccaneers had more time of possession, had the ball more. That doesn't really have anything to do with it. I mean, it does a little bit, yes, especially in that first half, but it has less to do with how much they had the ball and more to do with the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs, they play a much more man coverage base defense in terms to a drop back and cover zone, because the Buccaneers just don't have the same, in terms of athletic ability, don't have the same defensive backs as the Chiefs do. The Chiefs scheme trusts in the athletic ability of their defensive backs to get up front and do some hand fighting and keeping pace with some of the best receivers in the NFL. I will be right back. You can take care of this. I just gotta go take care of something.
Okay, so my point when it comes to this is that, and I'll bring this up with Austin, and he can debate it if he wants. My point with this is that he said there was a discrepancy in the calls, in terms of you look at the penalties at face value. You can look at it and say, Chiefs got called for more penalties. They got called for a ton. But what missed calls, other than a couple, there were a few, not to the level that the Chiefs had called on them, but what calls were missed? That's my point, is that, yes, I mean, and Kansas City, you know, watching them, if you've watched them in the past, you know that they are a they're a grabby team. That's how they play defense. Like he said, they're a man coverage defense. They rely on their defensive backs to be able to use that athletic ability, and in some sense rely on them to grab and hold close, and sometimes they get away with it. And more often than not, the Kansas City Chiefs are able to outscore the other team anyway. So even if they get called, it doesn't matter. In this sense, Kansas City got caught on a lot of what their defense relies on. And that is grabbing, that is holding, that is pass interference. And it doesn't always get called against them. And it did in the Super Bowl. Now, and we'll get into this point later, like, we'll get into the point of if it costs the Chiefs the game later. But I don't feel like there's a discrepancy with the calls when you look at it as because the discrepancy will imply that there was some sort of bias, that calls were not getting called on Tampa Bay that were getting called on Kansas City, and I just don't feel like that's the case. Like we saw, they replay every penalty. And you look at it, and are some, maybe I wouldn't have called that in the Super Bowl. Yes, but then there's some that are just so egregious, and I think you saw Kansas City make that halftime adjustment, and because those calls went away. I don't think the refs just hopped on social media and all of a sudden decided that they weren't going to call those penalties anymore. I think that Kansas City made an adjustment and said, look, we're not getting away with this. We can't do this. So that's my thing. When it comes to a discrepancy, no. Of course, the Kansas City Chiefs got called for more penalties. But it just doesn't. Discrepancy is a bit of a harsh word, I think. So now that you're back.
Okay.
I will sum up what I've said and what my point was. Now, you said there was a discrepancy in the calls.
I mean, there was 8-1.
The discrepancy is, yes, the Kansas City Chiefs got called for more penalties.
I mean, that's just it.
The fact that it was 8-1 is astounding, because I feel like Kansas City probably got called for more than that. But
well, just in the first half, it was 8-1, and at the end, it ended up being like 12-5, I think.
Okay. Because I know they wound up being at one point over 100 penalty yards. But yes. My point is the discrepancy is not that Kansas City was just getting these calls against them. It's not for no reason.
That is true. I agree with that.
The majority of them were good, solid calls that follow the rule book. Now, did I not like a couple of them? Would I not have called a couple of them in the Super Bowl? Yeah, of course. And the interception that Tyrann Mathieu had, it's a bit iffy. That
interception that Mathieu had was weak because the hand fighting that got called for the hold on the opposite side of the play was 2.5, 3 yards down the line of scrimmage. It was a 3rd and 5, I think. It's still within the 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, though, but it's
right.
It was weak. Was it? I mean, yes, it's holding. It even then, it's still technically not really holding.
You're allowed to 5 yards.
Yeah.
But my thing is, so yes, of course the Chiefs got called for more penalties. What smoking gun call was missed on Tampa Bay?
I mean, there wasn't really any, I'll say it, there wasn't really any, especially defensively, because that's not how Tampa plays. The only true, you can sit and point to one smoking gun call. If you really wanted to nitpick, and at this point, I wasn't nitpicking it then either. Patrick Mahomes got elbowed in the head on his way down by Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah.
That's the closest thing to, Ndamukong Suh wasn't really making the tackle, he just elbowed him in the head.
Yeah.
If you were to 1000% nitpick that rule, because of how much the NFL loves to protect quarterbacks, that's still roughing.
Now,
is it really
and
weak?
like,
yes. Would it
and
be
even if that's the case, and because this isn't towards your point, but more the grander point that I've seen, and I'm sure they're probably casual fans that just don't watch football, is that people want to blame the refs and that they handed it to them, they called more penalties on Tampa Bay. It's got to be some conspiracy. And at the same time, like, okay, yeah, maybe they missed that. But they also missed a pass interference that happened on Gronk in the second half. I mean, they missed calls on both sides. So the argument that just, the Kansas City Chiefs got handed this game by the refs is, in my mind, ridiculous.
I mean, so, like, I don't think that Tampa got handed this by the refs. I don't even necessarily think they got handed it by the NFL. Are they the benefactor of how the NFL has the rules written? Yes, but like the Kansas City Chiefs have been the benefactor at a time or two. Every team has been the benefactor at one point, or almost every team has been the benefactor of how poorly the NFL rules are written.
Say every team but the Lions, but
yeah, like I said, almost every team.
No,
like, this is not
like people are shitting on this Super Bowl win, saying that it's been handed to Tampa Bay because of what you've said, because of that's how the NFL rulebook is written. Okay, well then if you don't like it, rewrite the NFL rulebook.
Well, the NFL needs to do that, and that's something I would actually like to talk about.
The refs.
Like, that's something, the issues with the NFL rulebook is something I would like to talk about here in a couple, like, probably not next week, but in a couple of weeks, during our dead time between stuff. I would like to talk about it in context without the Super Bowl itself, because I will say the big thing, obviously, the massive inconsistencies with officiating. And it's not even, I mean, it is at the end of the day, it is an inconsistency with officiating because it's an inconsistency in how officials interpret the rules.
If we want to do that, we got a full fucking show, let me tell you.
I mean,
inconsistencies in NFL rules? I'm a Lions fan. I know how that goes.
Right. Like I said, I would like to. I would at least like to.
I got an hour to myself, but finish your thought.
I would like to at least explore it a little bit, just in context away from the Super Bowl. And I just think at this point in time, with how close the Super Bowl still was, we can't very well.
Right. No.
So like I said, I wouldn't mind in a couple of weeks to explore that during our dead time between stuff.
We're gonna have to get a bit creative here, because
yeah.
I don't think we can do fucking NHL and NBA talk for the next however long.
Yeah,
we have to get creative. If anybody has suggestions of what they might want to see,
yeah,
either drop it in the comments, or of course go follow the Discord here. Do I have a Discord link? I do. Of course I do.
Right. I'll also put that in the YouTube thing.
Why did I just close the Discord app on my phone? That's what I was looking for.
So yeah, I think yeah, everyone's going to blame the refs because it's just their interpretation of the rules. Watching that game, there are three penalties that I personally would not call, and all three of them happened in the first half. So, okay, first half penalties that the Chiefs would have had 5 to Tampa's 1. The holding call that negated Tyrann Mathieu' interception was ticky-tack because it wasn't 5 yards downfield. The pass interference that was called on Gronk after Tom Brady almost hit a cameraman in the face. That very same drive.
Now, that was the only one on Kansas City, other than the Matthew interception play with the hand fighting, that I would not have called. Like, yeah, that's a bit high. Did he interfere with him? Yes, but Tom Brady didn't put an accurate ball down.
So
that's just how it went.
I've watched that particular play a handful of times now, and I'm almost starting to get to the point with watching that play that was kind of a benefit of the doubt call, because Tom Brady 10 years ago hits that throw 95 times out of 100. Because that's not a particularly difficult. I mean, at 43, it's a bit harder because your body mechanics.
And you also have to look at that throw in the grand NFL context.
Yeah.
If you're going to make that throw, which I don't remember the route, it looked like he literally just ran straight in the end zone.
Yeah, it was just a 9 right into the end zone.
It's literally just he's just running a post. And just runs in there, and if you're going to miss anywhere, you miss high. And that's just a rule you put down as a quarterback in no matter what team you're on.
Yeah. Actually, I don't want to necessarily say Tom Brady would hit that 95 times out of 100. He'd probably hit it 80 high. Out of 100.
Right. Like, and that's the thing, is that, like, I thought he probably thought that was going to be closer than it was.
Yeah.
But then the contact happened, and that's why that throw was so high.
Like,
my assumption.
I think,
now, of course, I ain't Tom Brady. I don't know what the reasoning was behind.
Yeah, I think that call, like, the more I look at it, that's almost like that's kind of a borderline or a benefit of the doubt call. And honestly, I think if it was Mahomes throwing that ball, he would have got benefit of the doubt too, and they would have called it. I think just about any quarterback in the NFL, they throw that ball, it's going to be a bit like. If you put Matthew Stafford in that spot instead of Tom Brady, he throws that
too soon.
No, I'm just like, if you put Matthew Stafford in that spot and he throws that ball and it's close and there's a little bit of contact, he's gonna get Matthew Stafford. That his team's gonna get benefit of the doubt. If you put Andy Dalton back there, I've seen Andy Dalton miss that throw a bazillion times. To AJ Green, no less. Like, no, Andy Dalton won't get benefit of the doubt.
John O'Corn wouldn't get benefit of the doubt, but he's not in the NFL.
John O'Corn would launch that ball into the fucking 90th deck.
30 yards downfield into the Ohio State secondary in prevent.
Yeah. That if John O'Corn was throwing that ball, it would have ended out of the stadium. It would have hit the weekend as he was preparing for the halftime show. Aaron Rodgers would get that benefit of the doubt. Drew Brees would get the benefit of the doubt on that same play that Tom Brady threw that ended up drawing a pass interference. I wouldn't have called it, but like, if I personally don't think I would have called it. At least seeing it on TV, I've not seen it from that ref's point of view, so it's hard to say. The biggest one that I have an issue with, though, is the unsportsmanlike conduct on Tyrann Mathieu. Just because of how the NFL has that rule written.
Yeah,
Tom Brady at that point in time,
it is a problem.
Yes,
that the way that rule is written is a problem.
Tom Brady instigated that little scenario issue, and I don't know really what else to call it. That
bad.
Yeah. Tom Brady initiated and instigated that. The person who initiates it and instigates it never gets the unsportsmanlike conduct unless that person throws a punch. If it's just like, you can even go back and look at the Chiefs-Bills game where Josh Allen threw that ball at Alex Okafor's head. Josh Allen didn't actually get a personal or an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty called on him. I know last week when we were or 2 weeks ago when we were talking about it, we both thought he did, but I actually went back and looked. He did not. It was just the two offensive linemen that got called. the person who initiates those kind of interactions almost never, like, one time out of 100 will get thrown for the will get the flag thrown on them. And that's just because the NFL has the rule written really badly. Tyrann Mathieu, he's been in the league long enough that he knows this. Tom Brady was essentially just, for lack of a better term, Tom Brady was kind of playing the system. He knew as long as he didn't do anything dumb that he wasn't going to get the penalty called on him. Tyrann Mathieu just needed to walk away and be like, yeah, whatever.
That whole thing was really strange, by the way. Like, it's out of character even for Brady. Like, we don't see Brady do things like that ever. Now, Tyrann Mathieu, I mean, yeah, he's a loud, he's a big personality.
Yeah.
Like, and I truth be told, I love it. Like, I think the game needs more of that. But that whole thing just made no sense. And honestly, Matt, I don't. The whole thing with Brady and Mathieu could have very well made stupid people say stupid things with Matthew's tweet after the fact, but I don't know where this is going, and I hope the NFL releases the audio and we get to hear what he called him.
I'm curious about, like, I'm still curious about it because apparently Brady sent him a text apologizing to him on Monday.
Before that, after the game, directly after the game.
I thought it was on Monday, and like I said,
which makes sense. I mean, like I said, like, that's not the way that we don't see Brady do that. So to see him do that, and he knows himself. He's a grown man. He knows that was out of character even for himself. And so again, now, and we've heard Michael Irvin come out and say, who's, affiliated with the NFL Network. And now I didn't think that it was anything racial with Brady in the first place, because the guy's been in the league 20 years. If that's the way this guy, viewed the world, we would have heard about it by now.
Before now,
easily. But Michael Irvin comes out and says, it's not racial. It's not a racial slur. It's not nothing like that. He's heard the audio. Okay, then what are we making a big deal about it? You call him a bitch? Like what are we doing here?
Like I said, I think,
that's why I want to hear the audio.
I mean, I want to hear the audio too. In a way, with the that tweet that Matthew sent, I partially understand it. I don't like how he worded it. I think had he just said, "Oh, Tom said something that I didn't really like, and I didn't like it, so I said stuff back," then it would have been like, okay, whatever. And
especially because you can look at Tyrann Mathieu on the sideline anytime you want. And if he's, especially after that play, and he's sitting there talking to his teammates who's on the bench, and you can read his lips, and he ain't afraid to say any sort of cuss word.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, don't try and take the high road, like using some sort of swear word. It's just the worst thing that you could ever do. But don't do that now. That's my issue with what he said.
I
didn't
really
put him in there.
I don't even really think he was trying to take the high road.
I think he was, because he didn't want to say it.
I honestly just don't think that because there was a lot of people that took that tweet as in Tom Brady said something racist.
Like, I get it,
because that's the internet.
But that was never my thought.
Yeah.
Because if he said something like that, you saw Mason Rudolph and Myles Garrett. Now that was all sorts of nonsense.
Yeah.
But Myles Garrett said, "Oh, he said something racist." Huh? You're talking about a quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers and the best player on the Cleveland Browns. One of you is mic'd up. If one of you isn't,
yeah.
Well, then somebody else's mic is gonna pick it up. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Which is I feel like my initial interpretation, and now I don't know if this was the case of Matthew's tweet, but I feel like he was trying to make more of it than it really was. And again, like if you're gonna complain after the game, and you're gonna worry about even during the game, getting in the guy's face, and I get Brady went up to him and instigated the whole thing and whatnot. But if you're gonna get in a guy's face for somebody calling you a bitch or whatever the fuck else, like that's just what I'm assuming it is.
I'm assuming
something to that level. But like that's where, like, this is the NFL, man. Like, do you not understand the things that people say on the field? Like that's where it just doesn't make any sense to me. If you're gonna react in the way, and like you're gonna get in his face, wag your finger in his face over that, I bet Tyrann Mathieu heard that 30 times in his career.
Yeah, like I said, I just think that I don't even necessarily think he was even trying to make a bigger deal out of it. I just don't think that, like, I think the internet's making a bigger deal out of it because it's the internet, and the first thing they thought to was, oh, Tom Brady said something racist. Had he just...
That was, of course, because that was the initial thought, because he wouldn't say it. Because Mathieu wouldn't say it.
I mean, that's also just the internet, though. Like, that's just how the internet thinks anymore.
Like,
if someone says something Tyrann
Mathieu knows that how the internet works. Like, he knows that if he says, oh, he called me something I can't repeat, in the current climate of this country, when it comes to race relations, what is anybody else gonna think?
Well, yes and no. I honestly think, I honestly don't think he was really trying to imply anything. I think he was just trying, because there were a lot of questions going on as to why he did that, why Tyrann Mathieu did what he did after Tom Brady.
Of course.
Like, there was a lot of questions as to why, when Tom Brady got in Matthew's face, why Tyrann Mathieu didn't just walk away. Like, there were a lot of questions about why he didn't just walk away, and I think that he tweeted something out that he didn't word it very well. I think had he just said,
he knew that.
Yeah, and I think that's why he just said it, whatever. At that point, he's just like, fuck it, I'm done with this.
Exactly, just deleted the tweet.
Like, I think that's why he said, I think he probably realized that, the internet's, they want to take this as racist. I'm just not even fucking dealing with this anymore. And
it doesn't help, though.
No, it doesn't.
The way the internet works and the way the media works.
No,
deleting that does not help, because then that makes it seem like, given that was what the initial assumption was that he said was something sort of racist, that once he deletes it, people are just gonna forget about it. I didn't say it. Whatever. I don't know. I wish, this is almost on a different point. I wish we could get past the point of deleting things when people don't like what we say.
I mean, it would be nice, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. But that'll wrap up our, because we've gotten mostly off of the Super Bowl. Just because of that.
Tyrann Mathieu for 20 minutes.
We're going to get off of the Super Bowl coverage. Like I said, here in the coming weeks, I would like to take a broader look at just the inconsistencies and issues with the refs, or with the way the NFL's rulebook is interpreted. Because this is not, I mean, the reason that this, just in final thoughts on this, the reason that the officials it seemed like, or the officials have been made such a big deal out of it, is because this is the grandest stage of the NFL.
Yeah.
If this was on the college level, if this was the national championship and there was discrepancies, like there was a discrepancy in penalties called between two teams, it didn't matter how legitimate they were or not, there would still be an issue. If it was the college football national championship, there would still be an issue. That's just when you have it happen on the grandest stage, there's more people are going to take an issue as compared to when it happens on the regular season. People might not see it. A chunk of people might not see it. It wasn't the officials' fault. They called a pretty good game. They called it a little tighter than I would have, but they called it good. It's just the NFL rulebook is written poorly.
Before we move on, the final answer, and I already know your answer, but just for the clip, because I will most likely clip this and share this somewhere. Did the officials cost the Kansas City Chiefs the game?
No.
Mm-mm.
No. Now, I will say, did they have an effect on the outcome of the game? Yes. But
I don't know.
Yes, they did.
They scored 9 points.
Here's the thing, though. They had an effect on the outcome of the game just because they interpreted the rule book differently from different officials. That's it. Like they did not cost the Kansas City Chiefs the game. They didn't, because again, the Chiefs scored 9 points. They had what probably should have been 20 drops if the NFL counted drops properly. Like,
offensive line was terrible.
The offensive line was.
I did put this in the notes, I think. Yeah. Kansas City defensive pressures on the quarterback. 5
to 38.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers had 38.
Yeah.
Your offense couldn't score. It's just the way it is, and it's like this is just the standard. And you know, I hold the Lions to the same standard. Like when people want to bitch about the calls, people wanted to bitch about calls this year, and there was no blatant calls this year that were so just against Detroit, other than the roughing the passer on Tracy Walker, where he tackled Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, that was bad.
Worst roughing the passer I think I've ever seen. But I mean, at that point, that was week 17. So
yeah,
please,
I mean, it didn't matter.
Let us lose. But no, I hold the Lions to the same standard, and I think the fans should hold them to the same standards as well. When you don't play well enough to win the game in general, you can't blame the refs when calls don't go your way.
See, I agree with that.
Kansas City had an entire second half where penalties were non-existent, and I touched on this while you were gone. That I think they made adjustments and they weren't as grabby.
Yeah,
but you cannot.
And defensively, they actually played better. I mean,
you had an entire second half to get back in this game with the best offense possibly that the NFL's ever seen. And the Tampa Bay defense stopped you.
Yeah. No, like I said, the officials did not cost Kansas City the game. Like the officials are not why Kansas City lost, but I think to blatantly throw out the fact that the officials didn't have some effect on the game is
all it had an effect on was the final score.
I mean, yes, yes.
Biggest loss in Patrick Mahomes' career.
That to say it did have an effect on the final score, but to say it didn't have an effect is, I think, kind of wrong, because again, you look at how this game was called compared to a lot of other games we've seen this year, where especially this postseason, it's been, the officiating has been extremely loose, and then we get to the Super Bowl and the officiating is very tight to the vest.
And I feel like...
And that will make a difference.
Yes. I feel like people wouldn't have noticed it as much if the Tampa Bay-Green Bay game had not been called the way it would have been.
Yes, that I agree with. Because I think that's the way
that put a focus on the officials that, you know, they didn't call a damn thing. And we got to remember, like, obviously it's a completely different crew.
I mean, still. I mean, the fact that it's a different crew just shows how.
Yes, completely. It shows how inconsistent and how much interpretation is left to the NFL officials.
Yeah.
But I think the crew in the Tampa Bay Green Bay game was the worst crew we've seen. The worst game called that we've seen. Call the penalties.
Yeah.
It's just if it's a blatant call it.
Yeah. I mean,
and that made the headlines what they were.
Yeah.
After that game and into the Super Bowl, I think.
I will agree with that. I definitely do agree with that, and like we also got there wasn't really a lot of flags called on the or thrown in the Buffalo Kansas City game either.
Yeah, not till the end.
Not till the end, yeah. So we'll leave that behind us. We are moving on to our new segment. We call it Backdoor Cover. Jordan, you want to explain what backdoor cover is? Because this was wasn't it your idea or was it mine?
I don't know whose idea it was, but
I think it was a joint idea.
I think it was a joint idea, but I did come up with the name. I thought it was very clever.
I like it.
So backdoor cover is going to be the sports betting segment. Now, sports betting just became legal in Michigan a couple of weeks ago. 4 weeks ago.
It's been a month here.
Yep, just about a month. And we thought that it would be a good idea to go through, some bets that we think are good to get in on this week. We are also going to have our lock of the week, which I think we should keep track of these bets. Just the lock, just the lock, because just because of my three other ones, because it's gonna be 3 regular bets
and then a lock,
and then a lock of the week.
I would say not 3 locks. Oh my god,
not 3 locks. No.
Like we would be digging real deep at that point.
Yeah, right. But no, we just thought it would be a good idea. And we get that sports betting isn't legal everywhere, but it's legal in a lot of places, and it's going to become legal everywhere eventually, at least in the U.S., I think. It may take some time, but I think a good chunk of states have legalized this at this point. And even if it's not legal in your state, I think you still do keep up on it with point spreads, odds, things like that. It's very much, ESPN puts odds and point spreads on their bottom line for NFL games and all games, I think, these days anyway. So, we just thought it would be a good idea to implement this into the show, especially with the lack of the picks, because we can't do NHL picks. It's just not, it doesn't work that way. The way the NHL, NBA, baseball schedule works, it's just not that, it doesn't work that way. The picks is a perfect segment for football.
Yeah.
NFL and college football. And so until we get football again, nope. I almost messed up. Until March Madness, we will not have a pick segment. We got a couple months here, roughly.
We have a month
month and a half, because March Madness doesn't start until early March, mid March.
I believe it's the 18th of March this year.
Yeah,
it's the first game. So just a hair over a month.
Yeah, so this is a perfect replacement for it, I think. And
I do want to add, I wouldn't mind, depending on how this segment does and how people take this segment, I wouldn't mind even keeping it in for football season too.
Oh, absolutely. As I'm just dropping things off my desk.
So, I want to add a brief disclaimer on the 3 ones that we think are good bets. These are not 100% bets. These we think have a good chance of winning. Yes.
Mine this week?
Well, okay.
Now again, I do maintain that sentiment. We are not betting professionals. Don't take our advice to the bank. Most times, take mine to the bank because you're gonna make money this week. But
most times.
But most times, do not like I said, we're not professionals.
Same thing.
Plus $500 off $0 since sports betting been legal. Yes, but
that same thing can be said with our virtual locks. Our virtual locks are not 100% guaranteed, because, well, something stupid could happen. Like the Ottawa Senators winning today. The Ottawa Senators winning their third game all season and their first game since, I believe, January.
Bet you wish that you would have taken that Senators Golden Knights bet, huh?
Yes, I do. Because the Golden Knights won big, I believe.
Do we want to do this in the same sense that we do stupid people say stupid things? You go, you run through yours, then I'll do mine.
Let's go 1-1 because mine are gonna be a little scattered. Okay. Because I don't have a true, since we've had to reschedule the podcast several times, I don't have a true notes. Here, let me show you what I had originally.
Because again, we planned on doing this podcast on Wednesday.
Yeah.
That was a few days ago.
Originally, I had 1 page, 2 pages, a page and a half of notes for this segment. Page and a half of notes for this segment, but because we've had to reschedule the podcast a couple of times, which is what it is, things happen. That's useless. So, I'm going to be starting in the world of soccer. To be more specific, the English Premier League. My first one here is games happening tomorrow. Manchester United, and this will be a parlay bet. For those of you who don't know, parlay bet, Jordan, do you want to explain?
In the most layman terms possible, a parlay bet is going to be the combination of multiple different bets into one with increased odds, because the odds are going to increase because the likelihood of multiple things happening is more chaotic than just betting one thing. So, I mean, you can bet a couple things the way odds work in America.
Yeah.
You can bet a couple things at, say -100, -200. You combine 2 or 3 of those things, you're gonna have maybe +100, +200 odds, just because of how chaotic how many things can go wrong, and how many times Vegas can be wrong.
Yeah.
When you combine 3 different things, or 2 to 3, or anywhere, any multitude of things.
Actually, I wonder if I can get odds on this one real quick too. Also, important to note with parlay bets, if one of your events loses, you lose.
Yes.
That is important to note. So my first one is Manchester United winning. Parlay that with Everton winning. Is Everton the home or the away team tomorrow? They are the, I believe, home team. So your odds at that, Manchester United is -350 against West Bromwich. West Brom is horrendous. They are the second worst team in the English Premier League. West Brom has played 23 games. They have won 2. They have drawn 6. They have lost 15. They have a goal differential of -36. They are...
Let me chime in. Is that good?
That's bad. They suck.
Suck is degenerates.
They will be relegated, most likely. West Brom will be relegated, most likely. Manchester United is playing very, very good soccer right now. They are second in the Premier League. This is the best they've played in forever, it feels like, as a Man United fan. So pick them to win. And then Everton is playing Fulham tomorrow. This is the second leg of the parlay. Everton is playing Fulham. First off, odds on Manchester United winning there are -350. Everton is a +100 to win. Everton is 7th. They're playing average-ish for Everton right now.
Classic Everton.
Fulham is 18th in the league, and well, they're bad, and they're probably going to get relegated again. Fulham appears to be doing the same thing they do every year, where they get relegated from the Premier League, then they win the championship flight, and then they go back to the Premier League, get relegated, get promoted, relegated, promoted, relegated, promoted, relegated, promoted. That seems what Fulham's doing.
Can we have a fan vote as to who gets relegated for this year?
Well, you want West Ham.
Of course. Bottom two teams, and then a fan vote. West Ham.
So, as I'm saying, parlay Manchester United to beat West Brom and Everton to beat Fulham. The odds are plus 157. In other words, if you bet $5 on it, we'll just keep the bet small just to make it simpler. Actually, that comes out to be an odd number. If you bet $10 on it, because that's a bit more of a round pretty number, you will win $15.71.
Okay.
I just got logged out of FanDuel for no reason. That's odd.
FanDuel doing things.
Okay. Can I while I work on trying to log back in, what's your first good bet?
Had to take a drink first.
Nope.
My first bet is going to go in the direction of the Daytona 500. Now, this is my only Daytona 500 bet. And this is going to be a tricky one to find. And I will tell you where you can find this one if you do have a state that does have legal sports betting.
I do want to. I also want to stop you for 1 second. I did forget to mention. Jordan and I, as of right now, use separate sites. I primarily stay on FanDuel. He kind of bounces around.
I use all of them.
Yeah. Except for FoxBet, you don't use that because.
Well, I do.
You try to.
I do, but they. We'll get to that.
We are not affiliated or sponsored with any of these companies. I do believe that is important to know. So.
Yet.
Yes, we gain nothing out of actually doing this segment. We just thought it would be something fun to do.
Yep. And again, and my strategy to before I get into the bet with the Daytona 500 and everything, my strategy with betting is that you do really have to go around to all of the sports books and see what they have in terms of boosts, in terms of promos and things of everything like that, because that's how you're gonna is it gonna be massive money that you're going to make? No, but you are going a lot of these books do things that are literal no-brainers. In fact, that's what DraftKings calls some of their bets, is no-brainer bets, and a lot of sports books do it. And it's really just a good way to make some free money. Yeah, you're gonna have your money tied up in it a couple days, but you're going to most times double your money with these no-brainers. So it's just perfect. But I will get into my first one. It is Daytona 500, and it is on FoxBet. Now, if you can find this head-to-head, and a head-to-head bet is you pick two drivers, who's going to finish higher in the Daytona 500 this Sunday, today, because it is now officially Sunday.
Yep.
And so what it is you just pick one of two drivers, whoever finishes higher, you win the bet, you lose the bet. It's just how it goes. So on FoxBet, which is ironic because you just said that I don't use it, I would love to, and like I said, we'll get to that later. But they have head-to-heads on for the Daytona 500. Now, a lot of sports books do not. I have not seen this on MGM, which is my primary book. I have not seen this on any other one, but FoxBet does have these, and I think they're a great way, literally a 50-50 chance on making some money. So, FoxBet, Daytona 500, head-to-head one, William Byron and Kyle Busch. They are both at minus 110. Now, which makes sense because it's Daytona's chaotic, even odds. Kyle Busch is the better driver, but again, Daytona's just so wild, you never know. Kyle Busch does not have good luck at Daytona. Do I think that this is his year to at least be in the race at the end? Because if Kyle Busch is in the race at the end, he's a capable super speedway racer. He doesn't have the luck. He gets caught up in other people's messes more often than not. He has the skill to be better. Kyle Busch over William Byron. Profit's going to be marginal again because they're both minus. But if you're feeling frisky, you want to put a big bet down on Kyle Busch, I would say Kyle Busch over William Byron because of the simple fact that the Hendrick cars are scaring me with the issues that Alex Bowman had. You got to think, because the issue that he had was an engine issue. A lot of these teams, Hendrick is running the same engines essentially in all of their cars. Could it be a one-off? Yes. But how many times have we seen Daytona 500 guys and Daytona 500 teams just all have problems? If one of their drivers has problems, it's usually going to be bad for at least a couple of them. It's just how it's gone. Kyle Busch, minus 110, race head-to-head one on Fox Bet. My backdoor cover number 1 for the week.
Okay, my number 2. This one of these teams is going to be featured in my lock. Well, actually, this partially is going to be featured in my lock later on here at the end of this. Coming on Monday from the NHL, the Winnipeg Jets play the Ottawa Senators. You will most likely not win a lot of money on this. We don't have odds yet up because it's Monday at 7 p.m. I have, and this has been the one that has stayed consistent throughout this since we've had to keep rescheduling the podcast. As long as this game does not get canceled because of COVID, which as of right now I don't think it will. The Toronto, you can't parlay this one together because they're the same event essentially. Or they are the same event. The Toronto Maple Leafs to win, and then Austin Matthews to score a goal. I will explain this. I shouldn't really have to explain it too much because, well, the Ottawa Senators are bad, and I actually probably should get my notes here because I have explanations as to how statistically bad they are.
The notes are gone.
Yes, they are.
Gone forever. Aaron Hernandez are the notes.
Yes, they are.
Aaron Hernandez gets 2 mentions in one podcast.
That was I don't know if we're gonna get another one in.
Let's never do that again.
Right.
Fuck him.
Right. Awful person. Well, so first off, the Ottawa Senators are the worst team in the NHL.
Somehow they're worse than the Red Wings. Yes.
Yeah. The only thing going good for the Ottawa Senators is Tim Stützle. That's it. Other than him, they're bad. Their goalies have an...
Kachuk.
Yeah, Kachuk. He hasn't even been playing phenomenal this year. He's been good for the team.
He's not been playing phenomenal, but he's a good talent.
Yeah. The goaltenders have been even worse than just about all of than the skaters.
Who the fuck is even goaltending for Ottawa?
I honestly don't really remember. Which is...
They're bums. That's all we need to know.
Here, let's look. I have how bad they, Hang on a second. Goaltending. Matt Murray.
Oh, that's right. He's in Ottawa. Oh, that poor soul.
Matt Murray's there, and he's been, well, bad. And...
Shocker. He doesn't have that Pittsburgh team to rely on.
Marcus Hogberg are their goalies. The Ottawa Senators goaltenders have seen... Ooh. And so these stats were before yesterday. Or were before today's game. Have they played 16 games now? 15? Yeah, they actually... So actually, I have updated stats now. Gotta find them. The Ottawa Senators goalies have seen 493 shots. They have saved 429 of them for a save percentage that actually has gone up from when I last checked. Last I checked, it was 86.7. It is now 87 even, and they have allowed 60.
Is that bad?
It's not good. They have allowed 64 goals. Their goals against average is an even 4. Matt Murray, who has been the primary starter, he's allowed 3.6 per game, and Marcus Hogberg has allowed 4.23 per game, which is even worse.
Even worse.
Yeah, it's bad. The Senators' goaltending scenario is terrible. So right there, that is a nail in the coffin for them. The Toronto Maple Leafs have been playing some very, very good hockey. I believe they won again today. They actually did not beat the Canadiens.
Oh! Well, I'm glad I didn't put my NHL bet down today.
Yeah.
The Maple Leafs were included.
Yeah.
Saved it up for Daytona.
With that being said, though, the Toronto Maple Leafs are still the best team in that division. And Austin Matthews is scoring a lot of goals right now.
He is.
He's played 14 games and he scored 11 goals.
I believe he's got a goal streak. Unless that got broken today, I believe of 8 games.
I got broke today.
Okay.
He can put the puck in the net with the best of them. So you won't make a ton of money off of this just because, well, the Maple Leafs are going to be favored, most likely heavily, but you'll still make a little bit. You'll still make a little bit. So don't bet huge on it. I mean, you could if you wanted to. I won't. I probably won't bet huge, but you'll still see something off of it, especially off of the Austin Matthews scoring a goal.
Mm-hmm.
That's my Monday, so that's my second.
All right. So my second, and this is where we get into, like I said, some of these are guaranteed ways to make money, and I'm sorry to Austin if he decided to include these in backdoor cover. FanDuel currently has what they call spread the love.
Well, I was going to include that, but I'm not going to now. So I can change mine up real quick.
Perfection. Spread the love. So let me describe spread the love for you guys. FanDuel has done it twice now in the couple weeks that sports betting's been legal in Michigan. And it is essentially a DraftKings no-brainer. So how this works, FanDuel will bump up the spread on a game given how many bets on the game occur. It's a literal lock to make money. There is no way you are going to lose this bet. It is a 100%er, and that's not a Pat McAfee 100%er where he didn't score the touchdown because Troy Polamalu decided to get into the C gap. This is a 100%er. It's the way it goes. Literally, no lie.
I missed something I heard. All I came back to is hearing Polamalu in the C gap. So I assume there was a Pat McAfee story.
I feel like I have to repeat this for you. FanDuel spread the love is a 100%er. And when Pat McAfee said 100%er when he was going to score a touchdown against the Pittsburgh Steelers and Polamalu was in the C gap. It's glorious.
I love that story. I love hearing that story every time.
I listened to it again a couple weeks ago. I love it.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
This is a lock. Now, the last spread the love event that FanDuel did was the Pistons against the Lakers, I believe. And so many people put a bet on it that the spread increased to plus 100 and I don't even know, plus 120 in favor of the Detroit Pistons.
I think it was plus 120.
I don't know if there's ever been an NBA team ever that has lost by 120 points. FanDuel is doing this again for tomorrow's game with the Michigan Wolverines and the Wisconsin Badgers. At last checked, and it could have gone up since, At last check, there was 147 more customers to get the spread up again. And let me just tell you, most college basketball teams are not scoring 100 points in a game. If they do, do you have a live update?
Yeah, spread is plus 101 right now.
Okay, so it's since gone up. I when I looked at it last, it was plus 100. College.
Thanks for reminding me to do that, though, by the way.
Exactly. I still have to do that as well. College basketball teams most times do not score 100 points in the game. The game's shorter, 40 minutes instead of 48. College basketball is just, the teams are not as good. Scoring 100 points is rare. Losing by 100 is unheard of. It
Impossible.
will not happen, especially for a team that's projected to be a 1 seed. The Wolverines on FanDuel, spread the love, are currently plus 101. You're going to double your money. Maximum wager is $50. You'll walk away with 100. Just the way it is. That is backdoor cover number 2 for me.
That's big.
I mean, how do you literally? It's $50 free, and it's not like BetMGM has done where you bet $1, you win $100 in free bets. No, it is $50 in real money that you can cash out. And FanDuel, might I add, again, not sponsored. FanDuel has the best cash outs in sportsbooks currently.
Yes,
they will get you your money in about a day. 2 days at max. When other sports books, you gotta wait 1 to 2 days, sometimes more.
Alrighty, so my third, I'm gonna bring this one up now because I could have brought it up earlier. It's still a thing. Were you done with your second, by the way?
I was.
Okay, I was like, I may have interrupted you. My third,
nope.
Comes from the world of golf.
Oh man, I can't get into betting on golf yet. I can't do it.
Currently, and I'm actually checking updated odds as of right now. Along with some scores. Nope, not UFC. I don't want UFC. I want that. Alrighty. So, had you got in on this bet on Thursday, I believe it was, when I placed it? If my calendar will work. On Thursday, when I placed it on this bet on this person, he was plus 800 to win the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am of this year. He is currently, updated odds, MGM has him at plus 175 and FanDuel has him at plus 185. Jordan Spieth to win the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am.
Oh, he dunked one today.
Yes, he did.
Shit.
Like I said, when I got in on this bet on Thursday, he was still a plus 800 because he was a couple shots back. As of right now, Jordan Spieth is, and he holed out on 16, as Jordan mentioned. He is minus 13. He is 2 shots up on Russell Knox, Patrick Cantlay, Daniel Berger, Nate Lashley, Tyler Hogue, and then 3 shots up on Paul Casey and a host of others that include Jason Day. Jordan Spieth right now, this would be, he's playing good golf. He played really good golf this weekend. I know he's been battling some demons on the course and he's been struggling at points. I think this could be the week he gets it done. Knock on wood for me. Because I don't want to call that, I'm not calling that a lock, so it's not like we're really counting it. By the way, while we are still talking about the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, the AT&T Pro-Am at Pebble Beach, Francesco Molinari hit a ground ball off of the first tee today.
I mean, it's nice to see that a professional can do the same thing that we can.
Right.
And it speaks to how we're back to this again. golf's hard.
Golf is hard.
Golf is a hard game.
Yes.
And, hey, I mean, I could probably, this is the first time I think I've ever been able to say this. If he hits that ground ball, you put me up on that tee, I'm at least putting it in the air.
So that's my...
Does that make me better than a professional golfer?
Does that make you better than Francesco Molinari, the 2018 Open champion? No.
Today, on that hole, at that time?
On that particular
yes.
tee shot, yes. But golf is hard.
Golf is very hard.
Okay, so that's my third. What is your third?
And again, we're back to the locks. The virtual locks.
No, we don't have virtual locks yet.
No, not the virtual, not the actual virtual locks.
Oh.
But the not virtual locks. This is a lock.
The 100%.
I mean, it's 110.
Okay, so
200,
we're not. So
700.
Just to make sure, we're not talking another Pat McAfee 100%er.
Oh no! This is. That was a 0%er because he didn't score.
They kicked the field goal.
He didn't score. It's not a 100%er. So sorry, Pat. But
we love you over here, Pat. But it wasn't 100%er.
Oh, I love you, Pat McAfee Show every day. The second best podcast after the House Divided podcast. But is he even? It's not even really a podcast. He's on fucking radio. So
right.
No.
It's
anyway,
there we go.
DraftKings. I'm sorry, Pat.
Nope.
I know you're a FanDuel guy.
Right here. There we go. I had to find where the logo was on the screen.
What logo?
The House Divided podcast logo. So I was just moving my finger around until I got my finger under it.
Because the way Discord works, you're mirrored for whatever reason on your screen. I know how that goes.
Yep.
But anyway, yes, Pat McAfee's a FanDuel guy, sponsored by FanDuel. I'm sorry that I brought you up in a DraftKings thing. But again, this is a promo you cannot miss. So, DraftKings has this promo that is absolutely comical. Now, this is called Hammer the Over. And it works the same way as Spread the Love in the opposite way. This one is all about the total. The total number of points that are going to be scored in the game. When I first saw this, total was it something, even then it was ridiculous. At like 100 points being scored in the game. I don't know about you, but I've never seen an NBA game that's 50-50 or 51-50 at final. It just doesn't happen. It's not possible.
They score points.
Let me tell you that I think the other one is, I know that that's such a lock that you're going to double your money. This one is literally impossible not to make $25. So, DraftKings hammer the spread, hammer the total. I don't remember what it's hammer the total. Hammer the over total, according to DraftKings. I just read it.
That's complicated.
This one is impossible not to double your money on, and I'm going to explain to you why. Bet $25, you win $50, because the current total on the NBA game that's going to average near 200 points is 0. If a team scores a point in 48 minutes of game time, you make $25. You can't argue with it.
What teams are playing?
Go ahead. This is the Lakers and the Denver Nuggets. Two very good teams.
I would say LeBron's going to score a point. AD is going to score a point.
They're going to score many points.
Nikola Jokic is going to score a point.
Jamal Murray's going to score a point.
AD and LeBron might not score points because they might not play. I just saw the injury report. They are both listed day to day.
They'll be fine.
Alex Curacao might not score a point because he's listed day to day. Costas. Costas.
Stop.
That guy, he definitely won't because he won't be there.
Stop.
But people will score points.
Don't say any more words. I'm sorry, did you just say Alex Curacao?
Yes, I did. Because, and then
Alex Caruso.
Yes, I know. I know. Will I pronounce his name correctly ever? No, because I know.
I mean, we both have more hair than him, so
A lot more.
a lot more.
And then you didn't hear me say Costa Giannis's brother.
Oh my god.
You didn't catch that part, did you?
No. I'm sorry. I was too hung up on Alex Curacao.
Yep. It's spelled almost the exact same way as the country.
I mean, to be fair, on face value, just looking at it, maybe a fair pronunciation.
It's not, though.
And
I even know that.
I'm sorry. I tried to catch you a break, but anyway.
No, even I won't actually cut myself a break. I said that wrong, and I know I said it wrong because I said it wrong on purpose.
Oh, well, that doesn't make it any good. I thought you just got it wrong.
No.
Oh, damn it.
Because I almost said Caruso.
Anyway.
I said Alex Caruso. I was like, no, Curacao.
Caruso.
Yeah, I had to try and change it.
Well, damn it.
Yes.
That doesn't make that any good. But
people
yes,
will score
again,
points.
Yeah, to wrap this one up before we get into our locks of the week, which again we will keep track of. We should really keep track of our locks of the week, and then on the backdoor cover screen, I'll put our records in terms of locks just right by our faces.
Yeah, I like it. Below us.
There we go. Below us, anywhere on the screen.
Below might work a bit. Will probably fit a bit better. I'm just looking at it right now.
Well, I'm not going to put it right directly above our faces.
Right.
But yeah, no, literally, my last two, the FanDuel, spread the love, the DraftKings, let me read this again, hammer the over total points promo, is literally just a way to make a free $75. $50 on FanDuel, $25 on DraftKings. It's easy. Just get it done. You want some extra money? You live in a state that has sports betting legalized? Just do it. $75. How can you argue that?
Yeah. Alrighty. So that puts us at our virtual locks for the week. I want to again preface first off, because we are planning on doing next week's show on Wednesday. We are just
that means count for it Sunday.
Yeah. Saturday night going into Sunday. We are planning on doing next week's show on Wednesday. I am only doing locks for the next couple of days. We only have like 4 days to pick from. Or games for 4 days to pick from. Once again, though, I want to say our virtual locks are not 100%ers. Something could go wrong because, well, things go wrong. I mentioned this one earlier. This is going to be another parlay. I only have 2 of them in this one. The Toronto Maple Leafs to beat the Ottawa Senators. And I'm going to apologize to Jordan in advance for this one. You parlay that together with the Chicago Blackhawks beating the Detroit Red Wings on Monday, the 15th of February.
All right. That's a bit of a risky one, and I'll tell you why. I don't have any problem with the other one. The Blackhawks are bad too.
The Blackhawks are on a really good stretch right now, though.
Yeah, but the Red Wings just beat the Florida Panthers tonight, and the Florida Panthers are good.
They did not beat the Panthers tonight. They beat the Predators.
Did they not?
Yeah, the Lightning played the Panthers tonight.
Well, the whole night I thought that they were playing the Florida Panthers.
No, if the Red Wings would have beat the Panthers, I wouldn't have taken that.
Well, fuck. That has me reconsidering. But again, neither team is good. That's a very bold lock of the week, and I like it.
Like I said, that's gonna be my lock. I think I will say the troublesome part is, yes, the Blackhawks, because neither team is particularly good, even though the Blackhawks are tied with everybody not named Tampa for second. Everybody not named Tampa, Dallas, Nashville, or Detroit for second. There's a heap of Carolina, Florida, Columbus, and Chicago all tied for second behind the Tampa Bay Lightning because, well, the Tampa Bay Lightning are kicking everybody in the dick who isn't named Sergei Bobrovsky. Bobrovsky. Wow. I said that a little fast, and it did not come out great. Who's in net for the Lightning today? Or not in net for the Lightning.
So what you're telling me is that our NHL preview episode where we called the Central Division, whatever the fuck it's called these days. Is it the Central? I don't even know.
It's the Central.
When we called the Central Division the Group of Death, it's looking to pretty much be that way.
Holy shit, the Lightning did beat Sergei Bobrovsky, Mr. Lightning Killer himself. Game of 6.
How nice. Oh, how nice. The Tampa Bay Lightning could have won me $200 the other day, but they lost in grand fashion to whoever the fuck.
And then they won it to Sergei Bobrovsky and the fucking Panthers.
Yeah. Wrong night, boys.
And then they won in grand fashion tonight, 6-1. Oops.
I'm just glad that the Lakers came back and won, and somehow made me $82 yesterday.
Right.
Holy shit.
So that is my lock. My virtual lock for the week is the Maple Leafs to beat the Senators and the Blackhawks to beat the Red Wings. What is your lock? What is your virtual lock?
We will go into my virtual lock of the week. And now we're not into those 100%ers, those promos. We're into a game that I think that you can, again, like the favorite is my pick. You're not gonna make a ton of money unless you put a whole bunch of money on it, which I'm not recommending. But Detroit Pistons at home against the New Orleans Pelicans. And let me explain this one. The New Orleans Pelicans are a fairly average NBA team. They're actually below 500 right now. They are 11-14.
But
the Detroit Pistons.
You're picking the Pistons to win?
Maybe.
I'll say because the Pelicans are the favorite by 4.
Maybe. We shall see when we get there.
Alrighty.
The New Orleans Pelicans are 11-14. The Pistons are 7-19.
That bad?
It's not good. My pick is not the Detroit Pistons.
Thank mercy.
It is the New Orleans Pelicans because the Detroit Pistons have played the best teams in the NBA extraordinarily hard. They beat the Lakers, they beat the Celtics, they beat the 76ers, they beat the best teams in the league. When they play an average or below average team, they don't do well. That's why I'm taking the Pelicans here. Again, marginal profit value on this one, but I'm going to take the Pelicans. There's no odds on this one yet, but I do have the ESPN matchup predictor, and it's 50. Honestly, it's closer than it should be, just because Detroit's been hot recently. They've been playing some really good teams. The New Orleans Pelicans are a 58.5% favor to win, according to ESPN. And honestly, it's higher than it should be. Like, I get they've played some good teams. They beat some good teams lately. I've watched this team all year. They don't play well against teams that are in their situation. And I don't think Sadiq Bey is going to go out and score 30 against the New Orleans Pelicans. He ain't going to go 7 for 7 from 3 and beat the Boston Celtics. Literally the only reason we beat Boston. We've gotten lucky against some good teams, but it ain't happening against New Orleans.
So I will say the money, according to ESPN's Pick Center, which is take it with a grain of salt because it's not phenomenal. The money line for that is minus 165 to the Pelicans. The Pelicans are minus 165. The Pistons are plus 145.
Okay, so not.
Let's see.
They're obviously the favorite.
FanDuel, because FanDuel has these odds up. I wanted to check those for you. FanDuel, Pelicans are minus 176. Pistons are plus 148.
So again, slight favorite. I'll say slight because we've seen a lot of big money line differences on these teams lately, and
yeah.
I will say again, the Detroit Pistons do not play well against teams that are in their sort of situation that are bad or average. Just doesn't happen. Pelicans.
Alrighty. So you're picking the Pelicans. Oh, already then.
I'm picking the Pelicans. One last little bit, since I figured we might as well throw this in here, since we are doing some sort of gambling segment. If you do have a gambling problem, and you are and you think you might have a gambling problem, the National Problem Gambling Helpline is 1-800-522-4700.
Yeah, maybe we should make something where I could just flash that on the screen for that little piece right there at the end. That probably wouldn't be.
I don't mind saying it.
Putting it up there though. Yes, as Jordan said though, yes. If you have a gambling problem, call the National Gambling Help Hotline. Do it if you have a problem. That's it. So we move on to our champ and chump of the week.
Yes.
Unless you have anything to wrap it up.
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will start with. We want to start with champ, or we want to start with the chump?
Champ is first on the graphic. Might as well go with champ.
Okay, I was like, oh yeah, champ is. Yeah, because actually it sounds better than chump and champ. Okay.
Definitely does.
So my champ of the week is gonna maybe be close to the same as Jordan's. Maybe. I don't know. We never really talk about our champ and chump of the week that often.
Nope.
Unless sometimes we do talk about our chump.
I would be willing, and this is by no means, but we go off of a gambling problem. I'm fake putting money on this. I would be willing to bet that our champ is not the same.
I am gonna go with Antonio Brown.
Wow. Okay. No, completely different. Okay.
Okay. I figured we'd at least be both would be football related, Buccaneers related. But
the Buccaneers are involved.
Okay.
In my champ of the week,
but
they are not. It's not Antonio Brown.
I'm going with Antonio Brown as my champ of the week, considering, well, last year he was in jail at one point.
Yes.
And Antonio Brown had, after that saga with the Steelers, and then going to John Gruden and the Raiders, and then getting cut before the season even started, and then his career essentially in limbo, and then spending time in jail, and him just
playing a week with the Patriots.
Yeah, playing 1 week with the Patriots. Did he even actually play a game?
He played a game.
Okay, he played one game with the Patriots, and then he got cut. Everything looked to be, and then again there was the spending time in jail. Everything looked and said and screamed that nobody wanted him in the NFL, that he was done in the NFL because he screwed up. And wasn't he on the Seattle practice squad at one point this year too?
Cannot confirm or deny. I don't remember that happening, so I don't know. You continue. I will look.
No, that was Josh Gordon who was on the Seattle practice squad. I'm sorry. Another
problem child.
Yes. I believe it was Josh Gordon actually instead.
Josh Gordon was in Seattle, but
yes.
I am currently looking that up if Frontier cooperates.
Antonio Brown, who just looked like his career was over because nobody really wanted him, and he had too many issues. There was too much off the field drama. He started to see a slight decrease in production and a massive increase in drama off the field. He caught a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl. He is on the Super Bowl winning team. He is a Super Bowl champion again. Actually, was he on the... Was he...
No.
He wasn't on the Steelers when they won the...
Super Bowl champion for the first time.
Okay, so he's a Super Bowl champion for the first time. I couldn't remember if he was on the Steelers their last run, but now that I think about it, their last championship run was a while ago.
2011?
Yeah. For some reason, I thought it was closer. But so, Antonio Brown is a Super Bowl champion. He caught a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl off of... He may have saved his career. Honestly. Not just off of that one little thing, but he turned his career around, and, I mean, maybe he's only there because Tom Brady wants him there, and Tom Brady likes throwing the football to him. Who knows? It's hard to say, but it's a hell of a turnaround from where he was at this point last year. So that Antonio Brown is my champ of the week.
All right. My champ of the week. And this is a bit strange to go from backdoor cover, where we're talking about sports betting, to champ of the week, where we are talking about sports betting. A customer on FanDuel in Indiana on July 7th of 2020 placed an $8 bet predicting all 4 major American sports champions.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Let me take a look here. I'll look at that. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Bingo.
Los Angeles Dodgers.
Dollars. Los Angeles Dodgers. Bingo.
Might as well have been dollars. Los Angeles Lakers.
Bingo.
And Tampa Bay Lightning.
And the Tampa Bay Lightning. Bingo. I don't have any of my Lightning apparel on today because I don't have any of my apparel for the hometown team today.
Well, what the hell is wrong with you?
Well, I didn't really think we were going to talk about them that much because I was still extremely frustrated about them getting their dicks kicked in by Mr. Lightning Killer himself, Sergei Bobrovsky. I was expecting them to get their dicks kicked in again today, but they scored many goals.
You and me both.
And, well, the Coyotes wore their reverse retros and are playing the fucking St. Louis Blues again.
Yes.
And lost in overtime this time.
So, again, $8 bet placed on July 7th, correctly predicting all 4 major sports champions in the last year. Take a guess, and you said you saw this, so I don't know if I don't know if this is really a guess.
I don't know. I don't remember the number of what. I don't know what he won.
Then take a guess as to what he won.
God, it's got to be close to like $1 million.
It is not, because it is an $8 bet.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But to make the amount of money that this man did off of an $8 bet, and again, like, I mean, Fox is kind of motivating me to do the same shit. He cashed in for $20,643.84. It's $20,000. That's $20,000.
Yeah, no, let me know. That number is just insane. Off of an $8 bet that. Oh yeah, I think that they'll win. I mean, the Lightning. That one was. I don't want to say obvious, but they were the best team in hockey last year going into the bubble.
Right, and
that one.
Let me take a look at the odds. The Lightning's odds at this point, when he cashed at the point of his bet, I can't see. The ticket goes farther than I can see here. The Buccaneers were plus 1,500.
Yep.
The Dodgers, to be fair, were plus 380. Lakers plus 260. And he also had included. This is the reason I can't see the Lightning. He also had included on this ticket Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal, which is very strange.
That one's out of the blue.
Which I don't even know. That honestly worsened his odds, probably, because that was minus 300 on Usman. But Just incredible. Holy shit!
No,
congrats to that, man.
Yeah.
You have. Honestly, that's like, I can't speak for the dude. I don't know him. We don't know who he is. But that, like, for somebody, that can be life changing. I mean, it's life changing regardless. $20,000.
That's a car payment. I mean, that's more than a car payment. That's a car.
You could buy, as I say, you could buy a car. I mean, that's incredible. So kudos to that guy.
Yeah.
Really, really good job. I mean, that just goes to show you how.
Bravo.
Like, that just goes to show you, and like, my dad is a guy that is not in favor of sports betting. My dad actually talks like that sometimes, but he's not in favor of it at all. And like, it just goes to show you that it really is a thing that can change somebody's lives. Like, if you can control it, being involved in this sort of thing is really not a bad thing. And that's it, but it does come down to just like, know your limits. And again, problem gambling helpline that we got to in the previous segment.
If you go on a slight bad streak like me, just step away from the table. Like, I had to step.
Absolutely.
I was looking at it, and I've actually still, even counting how, like, I had a lot of large payout bets that have hit this week, but pretty much all of my small payout bets that are. So the way I do any of my sports gambling, just a quick background, I have usually one or two, like the nights that I do bet, I have one or two a night that have large payouts that tend to have, like, I'll have like a 3-team parlay that'll have a good payout. I will then have a couple smaller bets on the side that, just in the event that big payout does not hit, that doesn't win, because I stay away from basketball for the most part. It's pretty much for me all hockey.
Yeah, me too.
I will have a couple little side bets in addition to that large bet, just to, if that large payout doesn't hit, I'm still not actually losing money. I have not actually lost any money this week, but I have, like, basic, because my larger payout bets have pretty much all hit other than Thursday night. Thank you Vegas Golden Knights for losing to the Anaheim Ducks. You guys suck, Vegas. You don't really suck, but thanks, guys. Oops. Pretty much all of my small bets have not hit this week. All of my large ones have. I still had to kind of take a step back and be like, yeah, well, this is enough for this week, because some of those small bets just aren't hitting. That was last night and today. So the whole point of this is, as Jordan said, know your limits, and once you start kind of hitting that point where you're not winning phenomenally, step away from the table.
I didn't realize I was actually muted there for a second, but I was gonna say that please give me some of your luck on my accidental bet on Christopher Bell.
God, you need it.
Oh man!
All of my large bets
have opportunity to cash out that bet. Like, if I can cash out and take a $10 loss, it's way better than taking a $50 loss.
Yeah. No, all of my large, like, outside of Thursday was the opposite, where my small bets hit, but my large bet that would have paid me almost $200 didn't hit because the Vegas Golden Knights couldn't put the puck in the net. Couldn't shoot the puck at the goalie. So with that being said, though, we're gonna move to Chump of the Week. I have two, essentially. I have a runner-up, and then I have a primary Chump of the Week.
Make your runner-up a quick hitter, and then let's go.
Yeah, my runner-up is the NHL.
Oh.
The reason the NHL made this is because the Arizona Coyotes, as I have a lot of Coyotes stuff around me, I have the reverse retro jersey behind me.
The hat, the hoodie, the jersey, it's all there.
It's all there. The sweatpants aren't. They're just gray sweatpants.
Well, get some Arizona Coyote sweatpants, damn it.
The NHL, and I understand this is because of COVID protocol, the Arizona Coyotes have had to play the St. Louis Blues 6 times in a row. By Monday, because they play them again on Monday, it will be 7 times in a row in the regular season. The NHL,
like, you've got to be kidding.
It's, and I mean, it's been 7 times over the span of 2 weeks. By the time it's all said and done, but 7 times in a row.
I am currently looking this up because I just flat out do not believe it.
I
believe you, but I don't believe that they did this.
They did. They're supposed to play the Coyotes and Blues are supposed to play each other 8 times in this season. They have played 7 of the 8. I understand you're trying to keep things because of COVID protocol, and that's why the divisions are the way they are. But someone at the league office had to have looked at this and been like, "Okay, this is stupid." But nobody did. Someone somewhere on either the Blues team or the Blues organization or the Coyotes organization or the league office should have looked at this and been like, "This is fucking stupid. What are we doing here?" But no one did. So, by Monday, the Coyotes will have played the Blues 7 times straight. They haven't played anyone else in the month of January.
I was gonna say, yeah, that was the point I was going to make.
The month of February,
The month of February.
Because I mean, they have had a couple teams have to get postponed because of COVID, and that's why we're here. But they're my runner-up because that's not quite as bad.
Really quickly, February 2nd, February 4th, February 6th, February 8th, February 12th, February today, yesterday,
14th, or 13th,
and
15th.
Monday. Yes.
So not even quite.
You have played the St. Louis Blues for half a month.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a playoff series. They've played a playoff series in the regular season.
That is all straight. I can't believe that.
And this is why if it wasn't for this other one, my actual primary one being so bad, the NHL would be my chump of the week because someone at the league office or in the Coyotes organization or the Blues organization, someone had to have been like, "This is fucking stupid. What are we doing?" So, but this one's even worse though. The NFL is my first place chump of the week for this week. Last week, or 2 weeks ago. Was it last week? No. When did we do what day did we do the podcast last week? We did it on Saturday, right?
Yes.
Okay, so last week they had the NFL honors ceremony.
Okay.
A portion of the NFL honors ceremony includes the in memoriam, honoring all of the former NFL players or current NFL players that have passed in the previous year. The NFL is chump of the week because they did not include Hall of Famer Ken Riley, who not only is Ken Riley a Hall of Famer, he is 5th in all-time interceptions with 65. How do you forget this? And it's not like he didn't die recently. He didn't die recently, if I remember correctly. He passed back in July.
When he passed should have no literal impact on any of this, and that just goes to say that it is less than a year.
Yeah.
Literally less than a year.
6 months.
Now, that's to be expected because you're doing it in memoriam for people that have passed
the previous
last year.
Yeah, in the last year.
It is inexcusable, honestly, to omit anybody from that segment.
Who's
Like,
yeah, anyone who's been a part of the league, you can't.
it's so bad.
And then you forget, on top of that, you forget someone who was 5th all-time in interceptions and is in the Hall of Fame.
5th all-time interceptions Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're not in the Hall of Fame. If we're just gonna not talk about people,
why even do the segment?
Why do it? Exactly. Yeah. Yes. You took the words right out of my mouth. Why do it?
There was a lot of Bengals fans who were upset that because Ken Riley was a career Bengal. Like, there was a lot of Bengals fans upset because of that, and they think the NFL just forgot him because he was a Bengal. I don't necessarily believe that. I think they just forgot him because they suck at their job. Whoever did it sucked at their job.
And I don't have skin in that game.
Yeah.
I'm not a Bengals fan.
I think
clear.
Anyone who's a football fan should be upset by this. This is just bad. It's not like
I don't think that his family would say anything about it, but they have to feel like, wow, for real?
Yeah.
He busted his ass in the NFL as one of the all-time greats, and yet we're just gonna forget about him in the in memoriam.
Yeah.
For NFL honors, come on.
Hall of Fame, 5th all-time in interceptions. I could pull up the list of people he's ahead, but it's pointless because he's 5th still. Almost everybody that he's ahead is also a Hall of Famer.
People behind him.
Everyone that is behind, that he is ahead of, so everyone who's behind him, they're all Hall of Famers also. Like, and like I said, it's not like he died like a couple hours before the ceremony.
I mean,
it's 6 months.
That's just a joke.
Yeah, it's bad. So the NFL is, like I said, the NHL. If it wasn't
a funny one either.
It's If the NHL could have been my chump of the week, but this is just so much worse. So much worse. That's my chump of the week. And my runner-up. You're up.
My chump of the week, as we've said, I told you I was going to get to this. The support for sportsbooks. Meaning the customer support for sportsbooks.
They have some terrible CS.
So I have run into problems with the support of 2 separate sportsbooks in the past week. Now, FoxBet is the major one. Because they just decided to lock my account for no reason.
I remember you saying that.
I am currently under security protocol for no reason, and now I had a brief chat on the app, asking, I haven't been able to place a bet or cash out or do withdrawal or anything in multiple days. It says this should take a few minutes. Why is this continuously happening? The support guy had no answer for me. Turned my stuff over to a different department. I got an email, and for no reason whatsoever, I have to spend time uploading a copy of my driver's license, a recent utility bill, and a copy of my bank statement to even access the money that I've won on their app. Now, that to me, honestly, is worse. I feel like I should have done this other one last. That's the worst one of the 2. Then we go to BetMGM, and I love BetMGM. Like, overall, I feel like the app is great, the service is great. But we get into the complete lack of even letting me know how to contact anybody with customer service when it comes to BetMGM. So you click on their help icon, right? Because again, I accidentally put $50 on Christopher Bell when I meant to put $1 on. And I'm really hoping Christopher Bell wins. It's going to be the ultimate middle finger to BetMGM.
Right.
Because again, their app is so flawed. It, like, the back button to edit the amount of your bet is right next, like, literally. I mean, again, we're talking about phone screens here, but it's fucking not even half an inch away. Like, it's I don't know, couple centimeters. I don't know.
Yeah, it's close.
It's very, very close. You've seen it, right?
Yeah.
It's very, very close, and the place bet button is massive. And so, I accidentally do this. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, I'll just contact support and be like, hey, I didn't mean to do this. Hey, go to the help section of the app, right? It takes me to an FAQ screen with no possible contacts to contact anybody about, look, I fucked up, this shit ain't right, nothing. I went to about 10 different pages on Google last night to try and find a phone number, an email, anything, to be like, look, I fucked up. Like, this is really bad. I mean, not really bad. It's $50. It's not like it's gonna, like, break me, but
Still,
I would rather not lose $50 for no reason just because your app is poorly designed. 10 different sites I think I went to until I finally found a phone number. Now, granted, this probably took me, I don't know, about an hour, maybe a little less. Until I find the site that's like, can I cancel a bet after it's been placed? You have 15 minutes to cancel a bet after it's been placed. Please select the help section of our app to report a problem. See the problem here? I'm supposed to contact the help section of an app within 15 minutes of a help section that isn't there.
right? Yeah, I would say their help section doesn't really.
It's an FAQ section. There's no contact phone number. There's no contact email. It's an absolute joke. FoxBet MGM. I've had no other experiences with other support sections, but I mean, at this point, I mean, it's just a joke. And again, I feel like I'm pretty much stuck with Christopher Bell winning the Daytona 500 tomorrow.
Oops.
At this point.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe I can place a few $1 bets on some wild cards and something, and maybe win that back. I will say, my $50 bet is, they do have a promo going on of your Daytona 500 bet is risk-free up to $25. So I'm not necessarily losing all of it. I'm going to get $25 back, because let's be honest, Christopher Bell ain't winning tomorrow.
Unless some stupid happens.
I mean, hey, it's Daytona. Anything can happen. But, I mean, the guy's been in the Cup Series 1 year. The guy's a great driver, but I don't know. My hope is not very high. But, and Fox Bet's the same deal. I mean, at least they have a support chat where you can talk to people, and even if they have to forward it to somebody else, BetMGM has nothing. They have an FAQ section with no way to contact them, and yet they're gonna set time limits on things like placing a goofy bet because their app is bad, like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to? And I had to search, man. I went, I Googled it. I went to the first however many links until I found one that was just essentially another FAQ section, except this one was more accurate than their app is, because their
Which is
FAQ
sad.
section has about 15 questions, and none of them related to me.
Not
And
shocking.
honestly, if you're gonna put a help button on something,
Make it
have
actually
it
help.
actually, like, don't just give me frequently asked questions. Give me a way to contact you if you're going to put a time limit on things that I can't change.
Yeah, like
Christopher Bell leads a lap tomorrow. I'm gonna try and fucking cash out ASAP.
right. Alrighty, well, there's our champion chump of the week. We have one for the road. I already have a feeling like I know what yours is going to be, so you lead us off.
It should be no secret. I did an entire segment on it. It's the Daytona 500. I believe starting at 2 tomorrow. Honestly, best race of the year, most meaningful race of the year. Like, honestly, when it comes to NASCAR, the Daytona 500 feels more important than the championship. Should it? I don't know. But I mean, it's outside of the Indy 500, it's the most prestigious race in American motorsports. And you know, if you love drama, tune into Daytona. It's nonstop. Like, imagine WWE, except not scripted. It's playing out in front of your eyes. You never know what's going to happen. Things are just so wild when it comes to Daytona and super speedway racing in general. When it comes to NASCAR, it's really just so entertaining. If you can get past the whole turning left thing, yes, I get it, but I mean, you if you pay attention to how skilled these drivers are, you know what it takes to be good at this at a track like Daytona, knowing the draft, knowing side draft, things like that, knowing the strategy, making the correct moves. It's really just fascinating to watch. Daytona is such a good race to watch. It always is. You know, I know if you watch the duels, I would imagine that, you know, somebody's first race ever, you know, watching NASCAR is not going to be watching the duel races.
God,
but
I would hope not.
Right, for real. But you know, if you're at all interested in motorsports, just tune into the Daytona 500. It's really just so spectacular. Just drama from start to finish. It really is.
Well, mine is not NASCAR related because, well, I'm not a big NASCAR fan. That's no secret. I like road racing. I like F1. I like Indy. I like endurance racing. I'm not a big NASCAR guy. I'll admit that. Mine is not going to be NASCAR related. Mine, we are going to the world of the NHL. We have 2 games tomorrow. Could have been 3, but the Flyers-Rangers game got postponed. The Capitals and Penguins play tomorrow at 3, and the Colorado Avalanche and the Vegas Golden Knights play at 7. We'll have 2 very good games. Both of them are nationally televised on NBC and NBCSN. Those will be fun games to watch. Will I have money on them? No, because I won't.
No, because I won't.
both of the Golden Knights let me down recently, and the Avalanche haven't played a game in a fucking eternity, and the Penguins Capitals game is just a bit too tight for me to actually want to put anything on confidently. But they will be fun to watch, so that is my one for the road, is watch the 2 NHL games tomorrow. Other than that, we're at a dead period for sports. So that actually segues me pretty well into our outro. I know this was a marathon episode. We had a lot to get through today.
Right.
The next handful of weeks until we get the next month, pretty much until we get to our March Madness bracket episode, will be pretty uneventful, slow. We'll catch up on some old news next week. Next week we're going to catch up on a little bit of old news, stuff that we haven't really put a lot of talk into just because they haven't been front page things. I believe, because I already started doing some notes for next week, I believe we will have a 1 month recap of the NHL. We'll do a little look at that, and then we might have a couple other things that we will talk about. And
may I make a suggestion?
Go ahead.
Doesn't have to be next week, if we want to do other things. The revisit of top and worst announcers in sports.
We could probably, that'll be up there. That'll be sometime soon.
It'll be like, I don't know how much time we want to spend on an NHL recap. It's been,
A month.
Nothing. It's been a month, but nothing wild has happened.
Yeah.
Like it's been fairly status quo, I feel like.
Other than the West, because, well, 3 teams have had games had significant games canceled because of COVID.
So I feel like we can fit the NHL stuff in, but if we want to do something like that,
yeah, no, I think that'd be a good thing to do next week.
Or like that,
yeah,
I feel like that
wouldn't be bad. And like I said, for anybody watching this, because we've been having issues getting it to audio because Anchor's being stupid. So, anyone watching this, we will have whether it be on YouTube or Twitch, we will have a link into the Discord section for this, for the podcast, and that will be, we'll take some suggestions there. If there is anything you guys want to see for the next 4 weeks of episodes, essentially.
I mean, pretty much.
With that being said, thank you for making us a part of your afternoon or evening, I should say.
Evening or morning.
Going into morning. Thank you for spending time with us, however you may be watching and or however you may be listening. Thank you for making us a part of your day. We will be back hopefully on Wednesday. So by saying hopefully Wednesday, plan for like Saturday.
It's the way things have been going.
I would like to do it Wednesday because that gives us more time.
I mean, unless some unforeseen things happen, as they did this week.
Yeah.
I would say that's Wednesday's a fair thing.
Wednesday's a fair bet. So that's the plan. With that being said, everybody, peace out. Stay classy. Bye.
Bye.